And boy, it's going to be a dogfight here in Orangeburg, South Carolina, as you're watching ESPN College Football presented by McDonald's. It's been since 2014 since South Carolina State were the big dogs in the MEAC. Meanwhile, they'll go head-to-head this afternoon against the two-time defending MEAC champion Aggies of North Carolina A&T. And as we close in on the final weeks of the regular season, the picture gets a little bit clearer after today. Taking a look at the standings, both A&T and South Carolina State have one conference loss behind Bethune-Cookman, who's currently number one. There's a lot riding on this game because the loser of this one is essentially an outlier in the MEAC championship race. As we say hello and welcome in with the former Howard University and NFL quarterback Jay Walker, I'm Tiffany Green. Well, there is a lot at stake. We've already talked about the implications here. Now it's great to see how these teams respond when the pressure is on.
When you start the football season, during off-season training and conditioning, you've got one goal: to be in control of your own destiny. Win the football games on your schedule and be rewarded with postseason bowl play. In this case, for North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State, whichever team continues to win out the rest of their games in the season, they'll be rewarded with a ticket to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia.
The Aggies have been rewarded thus far with handing the ball off to Jermaine Martin, who has done a lot of damage in the backfield.
Jermaine Martin has not taken the conference by surprise. He's taken it by storm. He's taken over the FCS landscape in terms of being the top rusher in the country. And he can hurt you in so many ways. He's a big, strong, tough, talented runner. But what you really like about him, he doesn't need that many touches in a football game in order to make a difference because of his home run hitting ability and the way to finish off big runs.
He's leading the FCS in yards per carry. He has just been balling this season, but he will have to run into some run stuffers on the other side for the Bulldogs.
That's South Carolina State football. I mean, all the way from Coach Jeffries to Buddy Pugh today, they're going to have defensive linemen that are going to wear you out. Goodwin's a special one at that defensive tackle position, but if they can hold North Carolina A&T to anywhere close to this amount of yards rushing, look for South Carolina State to have a chance of pulling off a huge victory here at home.
Well, they are going against the 16th ranked team in all of FCS. That's North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State, the battle of the border when we come back.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Welcome back to Oliver C. Dawson Stadium in Orangeburg, South Carolina. North Carolina A&T won the toss. They elected to defer, and so South Carolina State will receive it first as the Bulldogs coming off a big win last weekend, spoiling Bethune-Cookman's homecoming and handing them their only conference loss. Meanwhile, Noel Ruiz is ready to get underway. Aggies blew out Howard last weekend, and so coming in with wins fresh off that. Now the biggest game of the season for both teams. Traquan DeBose back to receive it, cross the 20-yard line, has some blocking running up the left side, and just past the 30, and that's where we'll get a chance to see this South Carolina State offense get underway. Jay, we've had question marks as to who would be the starting quarterback as Buddy Pugh has kind of found a QB carousel. Well,
he found a passer. And Corey Fields, number 2, the freshman, has earned playing time. He's come in and thrown the football extremely well, where Tyrese Nix, the more veteran of the quarterbacks, is more of the runner. So they come out with Corey Fields on this opening drive, opening play, let's say. That lets you know they want to get him some looks because they feel they're going to have to throw the football against North Carolina A&T.
The redshirt freshman out of Hollywood, South Carolina, in the Charleston area, about 30 minutes outside of there. And first play of this game, the pass to LeBron Morris. And Morris with an opportunity to pick up some good yards on that first down play from scrimmage. Amir McNeil and Najee Reams in on the tackle, but you talked about how good of a passer they're trying to get him in, acclimated quickly.
Yeah, and get him going. You know, North Carolina A&T is going to be very aggressive, trying to collapse the pocket. I like the play selection by the offensive coordinator, Bennett Swigert. Call a screen pass. Let the young freshman settle down, see it. High percentage throw. That's a good job of play selection.
So we saw Fields get it going, that 9-yard pickup, but now Tyrese Nick is in the ball game. Nick, the redshirt junior out of Johnston, South Carolina, picked up a concussion against Florida A&M, so missed a couple of games. This is his game back. He threw 2 TDs against Bethune-Cookman, and now we have an injured player on the field for North Carolina A&T. So there's a timeout on the field as number 9, Antoine Wilder, a rover in that secondary for the Aggies. That would be a big blow. He's getting a look on his left leg.
He's that guy for them.
Yeah.
Defensively in that secondary, he's the guy. They call him one of the hardest hitters on the squad. He's come in and been an impact player ever since he got on campus after transferring from South Carolina. Oh, you see that. Ankle just got rolled up on underneath the tackle being made by Najee Reams. And for Aggie fans, they need to get him back in his football game. He's a difference maker on defense.
So he limped over to the sideline, will likely go into the tent and get looked at. Meanwhile, we'll reintroduce you to Tyrese Nick, the second quarterback on the second play of the game for South Carolina State. Nick with time, only with 1 to pick up on second down, and he didn't get anywhere. Brought down by the Aggies defense. And let me tell you, the defense for North Carolina A&T has consistently been among the best in all of FCS.
You can't run against them. I mean, period. It's like you're wasting your time if you try to run. We saw that was 2nd and short. They didn't get it. Now they're looking at 3rd and short again. Very tough to pick up ground yards against the Aggie defense. They sell out to stop the run.
Nick stays in at quarterback. He can beat you with his feet, but instead he tries to plow ahead.
Barely.
He barely picks up, I think, enough yardage for that first down. But that was that second effort to give Nick 3 yards on the carry.
Think how stingy North Carolina A&T is. They make you claw and scratch and fight for just 1 yard, let alone try to get 3 or 4. Good job, a tough running by Tyrese Nick, but I think you have to throw the football. See, they're daring you to throw the football right now. Everybody's closer to the line of scrimmage to stop the run.
And that's something that they have consistently done, as we've mentioned, throughout the years, led the MEAC the last 4 years in total defense. And when we talk about top run defense, 7 of the last 8 years. Nick going forward. He's got a man trying to lay out, and Shaq Davis could not get to him. Well, Shaq Davis had the step on the All-American Mac McCain, but Davis could not get to it.
Yeah, you just have to make a better throw. This is open. In college football, you get behind a secondary defender by 3 or 4 yards, that's open. He was that open from the break at the line of scrimmage. Tyrese Nick just has to make a better throw.
And that's what the Aggies defense wants to do, is challenge Nick anytime he's in the game. Of the two is back in, quickly out to Omar Cummings, and Cummings with space. Cummings across the 30-yard line. He's showing a little juke and a move inside the 10. Big play for the Bulldogs offense to get them in the red zone.
Great call with the screen. You're going to see number 52, Jalen Page. Watch number 52, Jalen Page. Go get out in space. Seal that linebacker there. That's the room needed for Cummings to finish off the run. Nice little stutter step there, and South Carolina State, through the air, is in business.
You saw Cummings showing off that speed on that 49-yard pitch and catch. And the run after sets them up in good field position. Rolling out to his right, Nick finds Demontrez Burrows, and Burrows tried to lean out, but I think he may have stepped out at about the 4-yard line. Demontrez Burrows, one of those big guys, a senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, who has been most productive for them this season.
We'll see if Burrows is able to get in. Eye steps out right there on the 4-yard line. Great job by the official. I'm going to say it again, though. This is going to be a tough 4 yards to pick up. If they try to run for it, look out. You're falling into their game plan. I think you have to do play action and throw the ball.
LeBron Morris on the carry, tried to go up ahead, but didn't have much room to run as Jermaine McDaniel stuffed the way.
It's going to be tough. I don't know why you take out Fields. When Fields is in the game, the threat of the pass is there a little bit more so than Nick. And I would have kept him in there right now. Still, like I said before, it's going to be a tough 3 yards to get. This defense is just that committed to stopping the run.
3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Now looking over to the sideline to get the call as both Morris and Cummings in the backfield. Now Cummings flanks out.
They're trying to spread them out so they can open up a running lane, but A&T's not budging. They still have the number count.
Nick decides to keep it himself and just has absolutely nowhere to go as Jermaine McDaniel, who is a great pass rusher. Well, you also see how good he is in stopping the run, a loss of 3.
Yeah, they're trying to do an option off the in-man line of scrimmage, and McDaniel, number 93, you'll see him here, the in-man line of scrimmage, seals the edge. Watch him play the pitch man and the quarterback. That's textbook option defense, forcing a field goal attempt. A disappointing field goal attempt, I think. Took a lot of momentum out, having to settle for this.
After that 49-yard gain from Cummings, couldn't get 7 points, but trying for 3. 23-yard field goal from Dylan Bredesen, and it's good. Points are going to be at a premium all game long. It's the Bulldogs on top of the 16th ranked team in the country, 3-0.
11. Timeless machine.
We're looking at the all-time winningest coach for South Carolina State, Oliver Buddy Pugh, in his 18th season in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Of course, these are his digs. This is his home. 130 career wins over his 18 seasons here.
And what's so impressive, he replaced a legend in Willie Jeffries, who was the school's all-time winningest coach. Buddy Pugh came in so hard to live in those footsteps, but he's been comfortable and put some good product on the field.
The Aggies
what a tackle.
Tripped up. Good play by the special teams for South Carolina State.
You talk about a great open field tackle. He would not be denied. That's Terrence McCray, number 33. Chase him down with an arm tackle to make the ball carrier not be able to hold his footing, and great job by the special teams of South Carolina State.
So the Aggies start with in their own 10-yard territory, and Khalil Carter, the senior quarterback for this group, who has had some great moments here even for the Aggies at quarterback.
And just like South Carolina State's going to be challenged to throw the football, well, they're going to challenge A&T to throw the football. South Carolina State is going to try and control that line of scrimmage.
Well, Carter on his first play going forward, trying to target his main guy, Elijah Bell, number 13 on the outside, but coverage there by Jacoby Durant.
And I think what makes A&T special is they can throw the football a little bit better than South Carolina State. You see that back shoulder throw there, could have easily been a call for pass interference on Durant, but that's the matchup I want to see. They're going to match up Jacoby Durant one-on-one versus Elijah Bell every opportunity they get.
That's a great matchup to watch out for the entire game. Meanwhile, Jermaine Martin is the big dude, number 30 in the backfield to the left of Khalil Carter. Man in motion. And they elect to throw it once again. This time Carter connects with his receiver, and he's brought down by Dwayne Nichols. Zachary Leslie on the collection, and that's good enough for a first down. I'll tell you, Zachary Leslie, even going back to last season, has continuously been the go-to guy. In his last 3 games this year, 362 yards for the redshirt junior. Once more, putting it in the air, and this time, Jacoby Durant gets a hand on it. They're trying to target Elijah Bell once more.
And if you're Khalil Carter, stop settling for the fade route. Anytime they give you the sense they're going to bring pressure one-on-one outside, if you just throw it up for grabs every single time, that could have been a little offensive pass interference. I think Carter's got to settle down and say, I'm not going to settle for just throwing a fade route to Elijah Bell. Hit him on a crossing route or a quick slant.
3 plays, 3 passes for the Aggies as they hand it off to the leading carrier in the FCS in Jermaine Martin. Martin was tripped up by number 28, Jonell Brown, who's the general of that defense.
Tell you what, if Jonell Brown does not make that tackle, Martin is still running. He got to that edge in a hurry. Jermaine Martin, just a complete package. Power and speed and vision and shiftiness. He's a special talent.
He is closing in on 1,000 yards this season. He's on the sideline, 3rd and 3. Corey Banks in motion, and Carter elects to tuck it, call his own number, tries to move ahead, but the defense for South Carolina State says, no thank you. Tyrell Goodwin, a man we featured in the open. He was there to help stop that run.
He's a guy going to be there in the middle along with B.J. Davis, the freshman linebacker who's been playing well, but trying to run the quarterback sweep, and they just clogged the middle. Great job of slide down the line of scrimmage by Goodwin, number 97, finished off by B.J. Davis. Impressive defensive stop for the Bulldogs.
Demontrez Burrows is back to receive it for the Bulldogs near his own 35-yard line. Meanwhile, Michael Rivers, the sophomore out of Wilmington, North Carolina, readies to punt it away on 4th and 2. And we saw some movement up front. No flags come out. And late one finally hits the field as South Carolina State had some movement.
That could be a big penalty. South Carolina State moved. A&T reacted to the movement. Surprised the officials didn't flag the Bulldogs earlier, which would have given A&T a first down. But very interesting to see how they talk this out. I thought the initial jump was by South Carolina State.
Ball start. Offense. Number 59. 5-yard penalty. Still.
Rory Bernard, the
Forfeit.
head referee. But, Jay, I think I saw the same thing that you saw as South Carolina State may have jumped first. Yeah.
They flinch and they get it going, so they move forward. If the defense causes the offense to move, that's a penalty on the defense. North Carolina A&T should have first down. Bad call.
Rivers gets it away, and Burrows is there to collect it, called a fair catch, and so that's what we'll see. South Carolina State start on offense when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's.
Back here in the action from Orangeburg, South Carolina, Corey Fields completes the pass to his receiver, and that's Joseph Stuckey in on the tackle. And oddly enough, it was Fields to Nick, the two quarterbacks. So Corey Fields completes the pass to Tyrese Nick.
Well, Buddy Pugh told us you're going to see them both, and you're going to see them both in the game at quarterback, and you're going to see both of them out the field at the same time, trying to give A&T a new wrinkle to take a look at.
It's Fields who remains on the field at quarterback. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs. Fields with time, has a man. He tried to go for it earlier, through the hands of Shaq Davis again. They tried it with Nick. It was just too far out, and Fields was a little bit closer, but still, Shaq Davis couldn't complete it.
You got to complete that throw, but at a certain point right now, I'm like, Shaq Davis, I need you to lay out. This is a big game. You wonder if he lays out, if he can get to that football. That's a catchable ball. Looked like it went between his outstretched arms. It's a tough catch, but it's a catch you have to make. And they think Shaq Davis can be a great wide receiver, not a good one, a great wide receiver, 6'5", 210-pound freshman. But yet,
third and 5 from his defense, and Fields was slammed to the ground. The sack from Jacob Roberts, who's coming off a tremendous week. He's the MEAC defensive and rookie of the year from last week.
yeah, the freshman has just been dominating in recent weeks. You'll see him coming. That's a linebacker blitz. Missed assignment by Alex Taylor, number 73, the right tackle. How do you let a linebacker go untouched and trounce your quarterback like that?
Jacob Roberts, they say he's a special one, and so now 4th and 11, and the punting unit back on for South Carolina State. Barely got the punt away as Corey Banks is trailing back, and an excellent punt, and he watches it bounce, and it's down at the Aggies' 5-yard line.
Boom! That was a pretty punt.
A booming kick from Cliff Benjamin, and Benjamin does his job pinning the Aggies deep inside their own territory. That went for 58 yards.
He caught it. If this were a golf game, you would say he caught it off the tee as soon as it left his foot.
Well, Sam Washington trying to follow up a terrific first season with the Aggies, a MEAC Coach of the Year, along with winning the 2nd Celebration Bowl in a row for North Carolina A&T, and he's got his group ranked 16th in FCS. Khalil Carter finds Leslie, and it's broken up as Jacoby Durant, we've called his name quite a bit already, active in the secondary from his cornerback position.
going with the slant route, which I think is the right call, but you need to lead him out in front a little bit, put it on his body a little bit sooner. If he'd have put it on that back hip instead of in front, would have been a completion. Well, how about this? North Carolina A&T second possession starting inside their 5-yard line. Backs against the wall.
Quickly out to Zachary Leslie, and that play was whistled dead as flags are on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 55. Half the distance to the goal.
Well, I'll tell you, the Aggies
Still.
don't have much
Second
room
down.
to work with, so they go back even farther. And Sam Washington and his group has not utilized who we thought, at least for the time being, in Jermaine Martin early on. They're looking to try to establish the passing game.
Yeah, they're trying to loosen up the passing lanes a little bit right now. South Carolina State continues to overload the box and have the advantage against the run, so they're going to the pass.
And Martin in his own end zone, he's got to get out of the way, and there was just absolutely nowhere to go. Again, the big guys up front, Bruce Johnson among them.
And that's why they've been throwing the ball, because they are crowding the line of scrimmage. And you'll see Martin try to find a lane to run. Where's he supposed to go? No place. Think he can go outside? No. They're waiting for him out there. Tries to reverse field. Nothing again. That's great run defense by South Carolina State.
3rd and long. Carter from his own end zone. Steps back. Has Corey Banks. Banks holds on to it. A great catch. And he's got some speed. Watch out, folks. Boom! And he goes down to the ground. But let me tell you, Corey Banks, those hands so strong to hold on to that pass and keep going.
And what a throw.
Yeah.
Back in your own goal line. Watch Khalil Carter throw this ball on the money. Reach up, grab it, and run after catch. And Elijah Bell with an Olay block. But what a huge play for North Carolina A&T.
46 yards on the reception for Banks. And Carter going at it once more. Again, a lot of contact between Bell and Durant. No flags come out as they keep trying to go to the all-time leading receiver in many categories for the Aggies, but Elijah Bell couldn't come up with it.
And this is Bell's special. He's a 50-50 ball specialist. A lot of contact, and I think they're calling it fair. We've seen Bell get away with a push. We've seen Durant get away with a push. They're going to let him play on the outside.
Trips to the bottom of your screen. 2nd and 10 for the Aggies just near midfield. They got some breathing room after that passing play, and they hand it off to Jermaine Martin. Martin almost lost his footing, gets back up, but really, again, nowhere to run. Bruce Johnson in on the stop along with Chad Gilchrist and Jalen Barr.
I mean, that defensive line for South Carolina State, they're as good as advertised. Bruce Johnson, the defensive end, number 98. He's a grown man out there.
Yeah. 5th-year senior. Cook. Now 3rd and 11. Carter. And just off target there, and that'll bring up 4th down. So after that big reception and run after catch from Corey Banks, the punting unit has to come on for A&T.
And that's okay, because when you start with the football back in your own 5-yard line, you really just want to try and shift the battlefield position back. So the offense came out, got a big play. Now let's see if their special teams can try and pin South Carolina State inside the 10-yard line.
Michael Rivers, one of the best punters in terms of yardage in the MEAC, lets it go, gets it away. Demontrez Burrows with the didn't fair catch it, instead holds on to it with the defender right in his face. A 42-yard punt will set the Bulldogs near their own 10-yard line.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Welcome back into Orangeburg, South Carolina. Well, this South Carolina State team has seen a great turnaround. They bounced back after last year. They closed out the season strong in 2018, and then they opened with a big win over the 8th-ranked Wofford group in FCS, and then last weekend put themselves in good position with defeating the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman.
That's a quality resume. Let's not forget now, if they don't make it to the Celebration Bowl, still have a chance at postseason, and MEAC can receive an at-large invitation if the team is good enough.
Ball is on the floor, but I think Tyrese Nick was down. Ball's on the floor. It's the ground. It's field. It's all good.
It says he's going down. Good job of trying to strip it out, but the knee was down, and then the ball came out. This tells you how aggressive this North Carolina A&T defense can be. Good to see number 9, Antoine Wilder, back in the secondary for North Carolina A&T.
9-yard pickup on that first down run for Nick. He decides to keep it again, and Nick, who can beat you in space, and he's across the 35-yard line, brought down by the aforementioned Antoine Wilder.
He had a good job of avoiding a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. You're going to see a Aggie defender there, the linebacker, Jacob Roberts, number 57, a little bit late getting to the B gap, and Nick makes him pay for the first down carry.
17-yard gain for Nick. He goes to the sideline. Corey Fields checks back in, and so we're going to continue to see the quarterbacks swapped all throughout the game. So far, South Carolina State on this drive, 2 rushes, 26 yards. Now Fields passes it to Montrez Burrows. Burrows with a great catch, and he's knocked down by Wilder. DeMontrez Burrows, we've seen some really good games from him throughout his career. His freshman year was among the best. Sophomore year, pretty strong. And then this year, he's kind of reemerged.
Stepping up, playing like a senior that's trying to continue his football career. Good job on the slant route. He's got nice size, 6'2", 218-pound senior from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's one of those guys you feel like just get him the ball close to the line of scrimmage. It doesn't have to be a deep throw, but just get him the football, and he can make some good things happen for you. Comes the blitz.
Trying to just shuffle it out in a dangerous pass. A little pitch from Fields.
Yeah, and you know what happened? He's lucky he recovered that football, because that actually was not a pass. Since he threw it underhand, it wouldn't qualify as being a shovel pass. So this right here would be a fumble. He's fortunate that it was a good job by Morris of getting on it, jumping on the football, and making the recovery.
So 3-0 South Carolina State. Just under 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Fields sees the pressure and he goes down. Joseph Stuckey came in with a full head of steam, and the sophomore takes down Fields.
He never saw it coming. This is a Sam linebacker blitz, and you'll see Stuckey here is going to come here, shoot the gap, and tell me if you think Fields ever sees him coming. Nice swim move to the inside. By the time he sees him, it's too late. Great job of timing by Joseph Stuckey on the sack.
Stuckey was really stepped up as a playmaker, showing his physical presence. And that linebacking core has been really wonderful for the Aggies group. And now Bulldogs facing 3rd and 18.
And they're a young group. They start a freshman and 2 sophomores.
With time, Nick lets it go, has a man, and Omar Cummings, did he come up with it? Yes, they say it's a catch. What an athletic grab from the running back, Omar Cummings.
Leaves his feet, focuses on the football, and I think that's a catch. Yep. Secures the catch. Big play for the Bulldogs. That's the effort that you have to keep your season going.
19-yard reception, and now the handoff up ahead, and the Bulldogs get some yards on the ground.
I mean, great concentration. The backhand that football, looking in and secure it before going to the ground.
Outstanding catch from Cummings, who is really known more for his power. Former weightlifting youth national champion, but showed off some great agility and hops there. brought down by Kion Howard. Nick didn't have much place to go.
Once again, running the football, not the recipe for success against North Carolina A&T. If you can get a quarterback in a groove to complete some throws, you can do some damage against the Aggie defense, but I just don't think you're going to make a living trying to run the football, even with your quarterback.
The Aggies, who are first in the MEAC and giving up just under 21 points a game. They're trailing by 3 here, 3rd and 7. The final minute of the first quarter, and Nick trying to avoid trouble, and he gets it away, but he had 3 yellow jerseys in his face.
An Aggie is a dog, right?
Yes.
And they were a pack of wild dogs looking for that quarterback, Tyrese Nick, behind the line of scrimmage. He's looking, and all he sees is yellow jerseys everywhere. Forced out of the pocket by the blitz by Stuckey, and look at the pack of Aggies getting to the football. Ooh, that's an aggressive pack of dogs.
Well, Nick, fortunate, able to get that one away in time. And on the far side, Mac McCain, the All-American cornerback, is down. Remember, he tore his ACL last October against Bethune-Cookman, and he was slow to start this season. They were hoping that he would come around and get healthy. He missed the first few games of the year, and they were happy to have him back, and hopefully this young man is okay.
Let's hope it's just a stinger. Time you see him trying to move the fingers around, trying to get some vibration in there. But I will tell you, Mac McCain is a special talent. He's a cornerback that'll be playing in the NFL whenever he decides to declare for the draft. And I thought, had he not been ejected versus Florida A&M, I think the Aggies might have won that football game down in Tallahassee. He's that special a talent. Just finally getting back to 100%. And I always love telling the story.
Yep.
Mac McCain is the grandson of the first Mac McCain, who was one of the February 1 group, the 4 people that led the
4.
Greensboro 4.
Corey Banks running to try to field that one, and the ball is live, and they try to tip it back in as it rolls out of bounds, but the Aggies very fortunate there.
And they'll get some more position because that's an illegal bat. Dangerous return by Corey Banks on a fair catch. If it's in doubt, just let it go. You can call that interference as well. Yeah, so they're going to call the kick interference. So once, good call.
Yep.
Once you have the kick interference, then don't even worry about the bat. That's a dead ball right there.
That was Jalen Evans who got a hand on it. When you look at this North Carolina A&T program, who has just continued to look so strong over the last several years, this season no different. They started with big wins against Elon, and then a couple weeks ago, they go to Tallahassee, the game you mentioned against FAMU, and drop off there, but they are still the cream of the crop in the MEAC. The handoff, and Kayshawn Baker. And Kayshawn Baker really with nowhere to go, but I think you go back to that conversation, Jay, of the fact that, the Aggies are the 2-time defending MEAC champions and Celebration Bowl champs, and they seem to just reload and get better and better each year.
It's a quality football program. We're talking about a team that's had, the past 3 years, has had somebody drafted to the National Football League and play at that high level. Rob Broadway laid the foundation. Sam Washington keeping the tradition of winning alive.
Back with more here from the border war between A&T and South Carolina State.
This is tech that helps you be there. The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's. Good look at South Carolina State's Marching 101, but I'll tell you, the blue and gold marching machine from North Carolina A&T made their way inside Oliver C. Dawson Stadium. Good crowd on hand, a lot at stake for both teams as they're trying to stay in the hunt for a MEAC championship, as the completion to Zachary Leslie and a flag is down.
I think it'll be offsides against South Carolina State, their defensive linemen. But that lets you know the balance of North Carolina A&T. They can throw the football. They're used to throwing the football. pretty balanced attack with their run-pass ratio. That's why they're one of the top teams in the country.
Offside. Defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, 2nd down.
You see the jump there by Goodwin in the middle of your screen. But decline the penalty, take the completion. I want my yards. I'm one of those quarterbacks like, should you take the penalty or not? No, I want my yards. I want my completion, and I want my yards. Hate when they turn it down. I'm curious about that spot, though. I thought that slant route went a little bit further than just 6 yards. They're bringing up, giving them credit for a 7-yard slant. I thought it was more like an 8-9 yard completion.
2nd and short. And Carter completes the pass on the outside. Kobe Durant tried to jump in, and Elijah Bell is continuing to drag a bunch of defenders with him.
Elijah Bell, the senior from West Virginia, physical guy, and this is a great job on the swim move. He's going to swim the defender, come back to the football, then watch him turn into a running back, keep the legs going, lower the shoulder. Without that quick whistle there, might have got some more yardage. And, oh, yeah, let me see the flex. Show off the guns. I've been hitting the weight room, Jay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I like the way that he ran after. You know, we know Jermaine Martin as the yak guy, but how about Elijah Bell keeping it going? Carter has to get it away. Nobody there. Well defensed by the Bulldogs.
And that was a great switch in the secondary by number 10, Dwayne Nichols. Comes from Lakeview High School in South Carolina, and Bulldog fans know that's the high school of Darius Leonard. But that was a fantastic job switching on the route, jumping the out route. Get a good look there at the 6 foot, 210-pound sophomore. Doing a good job in the secondary for the Bulldogs.
The coaches like the toughness, the mental and physical. Floats it out to Leslie trying to make a move, the stiff arm and more. And I'm telling you, Zafir Kelly, it's just like, wait a minute, man, you can't pump me like that.
Oh, that is grown man wide receiver right there. Use your size. The thing about Leslie they like, he's 6'3", he's got long arms, and this is what you do. He's not going down. He squares them up, and look at the shove. I've got someplace to go. Come along for the ride.
The handoff to Kayshawn Baker. Baker slippery through there and good for about 9 yards on that first down carry brought down by Chad Gilchrist. Well, I tell you, Kayshawn Baker, who is a nice compliment to Jermaine Martin, the senior out of Farmville, North Carolina, with a good carry.
Yeah, Baker went there because of Tariq Cohen. See, Baker is 5'6", 165 pounds. So his running style is going to be more visionary. He's got to find the hole and squirt through it, where Jermaine Martin can take what he wants. And I think right now, 2nd and 1, now's the time. Even if you don't have the number count, force feed the ball to Martin. Let him get some touches.
You see the Bulldogs daring them to run. Instead, they throw and overthrown from Carter. Carter is one of those guys who's really had to adjust to being in the full-time role, and I think he's kind of played with a chip on his shoulder this season just because he has come up big in so many big moments for this group. So now they're trying to say, okay, can you pass the ball? And he's done a good job showing this. In 3rd and 1, he's a big guy. He can plow ahead and push the pile forward, and they say the ball is out. South Carolina State says they have it. We'll see what the officials say.
They've got it.
They've got it. Big number 91, Roderick Perry, was there.
Trying to go for the quarterback sneak. And you know what the problem is in today's college football? These quarterbacks are under center less than 10% of the time. They don't know how to get the snap cleanly. In this case here, it's a mental error, not able to hold on to the football, loses possession on the snap, Bulldogs recover.
Back here at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, and Look, in that last play, Khalil Carter didn't seem to be on the same page as Dackery Wilson. Couldn't deliver the football.
Yeah, you see right here, number 55, Dackery Wilson, he leaves without it. He doesn't put the ball back and allow Carter an opportunity to get it. You see from the other angle that we have, ball clearly out early. Great recovery by Roderick Perry.
Only 10 fumbles this season for North Carolina A&T. That's their 6th loss of the year. Now South Carolina State tries to get the run game going, but nowhere to go against the Aggie defense.
Now, if you're going to play Tyrese Nick in the football game, I want you to throw the football. Everybody knows he's going to run it when he's in there. He's the better runner that you have. Waste downs just trying to run the football against a team that is just controlling the line of scrimmage.
After that field goal, a couple of punts for the Bulldogs. They're looking to keep the chains moving, and they can do it with good completions like that to Demontrez Burrows. Picked up the first down. I'll tell you, the time of possession in that first quarter for South Carolina State, 10 minutes compared to just under 5 for North Carolina A&T. And Buddy Pugh pointed out in their game against Bethune-Cookman, they were able to control the football. Time of possession was definitely in their favor. Nick rolling out, finds Burrows once again, and I'll tell you, that completion or connection with Nick and Burrows is starting to heat up.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of getting Burrows, their best wide receiver, matched up one-on-one versus safety Najee Reams, and that's 2 plays we've seen Burrows win that matchup and come away with first down completions. See, they line up Burrows in the slot. See, once he's in the slot, you're getting him against the safety.
They flank it out to Rodriguez-Thomas, and Thomas trying to do a little juke move going ahead past the 25-yard line. And Reams and McNeil, Amir McNeil in on the tackle.
How about Thomas climbing the ladder? This ball was thrown high. He's a 6'3" wide receiver. Climb the ladder, go up and get it. Come down, keep your balance and your footing, and explode for some run after catch yards.
So Nick continuing to complete passes. This time hands it off to LeBron Morris. And Morris with some room. LeBron Morris inside the 5-yard line of North Carolina A&T, tripped up by Jermaine Williams.
They found a crease, the threat of the passing game, and they finally found a crease. And once again, we see Jacob Roberts getting out of alignment, allowing a big run or play to take place in his gap responsibility.
At the 2.
First and goal. Nick running to his left, and he's turned around. Big hit there by Antoine Wilder.
This is when I say it gets interesting. You can get inside the 5-yard line. How are you going to get across the goal line versus North Carolina A&T? Committed to stopping the run. That wasn't a bad play selection there. I actually thought that run pass option with Nick on the edge had a chance of scoring, but you see how quick this Aggie defense can be.
Well, remember on that first drive, we saw Omar Cummings come up with a great catch, 48 yards, but it only resulted in 3 points for South Carolina State, and now flags fly out.
Prior to the flag.
We're going to call a timeout first for the substitution.
North Carolina A&T, 30-second timeout.
A&T takes the timeout, the first of the second quarter and of this ballgame.
Now, I'm thinking as an offensive coordinator, what I want to do right now, I want to find a matchup, and if running's going to be really tough, I saw when they broke the huddle that you had Shaq Davis, 6'5" wide receiver, lined up against Amir McNeil, 5'9" cornerback for North Carolina A&T. If I get that same look, it's second down, I'm going to throw that fade route for that 50-50 ball.
Well, just a reminder to our viewers, Tuesday night on ESPN and the ESPN app, we tip off the college basketball season with the 9th annual State Farm Champions Classic from Madison Square Garden this year, highlighted by the top 4 teams in the nation. You've got Kansas, Duke, Michigan State, Kentucky, the Blue Bloods of college basketball coming your way Tuesday at 9:30. So now, what do you do here? What matchup do you like?
So they changed and they put McCain over Davis now, but now you still have Demontrez Burrows, who's a 6'2" wide receiver against a 5'9" cornerback McNeil at the top.
The handoff, and it was easy for LeBron Morris. Touchdown, South Carolina State. They say, we're not going to think too much about it. We're just going to hand the ball off and see what happens. A 2-yard touchdown.
They said, Jay Walker said we can't run against him. We didn't say we can't run. Great job by the offensive line. That left side of the offensive line getting the job done. The freshman, number 72, Tyson Gray, from the guard position, finds a crease. Bulldogs in the end zone.
Well, big touchdown for LeBron Morris. Dylan Bredesen on for the extra point, and it's good. There was room up ahead for LeBron Morris. He only had 2 yards to go, and he gets into the end zone. 10-0 Bulldogs.
Be there. The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class.
South Carolina State able to score off the A&T fumble, put up 7, and they lead here 10-0. Meanwhile, Jermaine Martin, who we thought we'd talk a little bit more about, 3 rushes, just 7 yards for the Aggies, but still a lot of ball game left.
Yeah, the Aggies have been trying to force the passing game, which they're going to need, but they're going to need Martin to get some more touches. And also, they have to finish off the drive. They had a nice drive their last drive there, but they fumbled the ball on a quarterback sneak. Interesting to see how they come out now, trailing by 2 scores.
South Carolina State has ruled the possession game thus far. Aggies have yet to have really good starting field position. And Taymon Cook trying to return it. Taymon Cook has some room on the left side. Taymon Cook still on his feet. And he's wrapped up and slammed to the ground, and a late flag, or flag rather, coming in after the play. Shaq Davis, the wide receiver, also in on special teams as well for the Bulldogs.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 8.
So tackle on another 15 yards at the end of the run, and North Carolina A&T is going to have great field position to start this drive.
We just talked about them having not the best, and now Sam Washington's group has an opportunity to get some points on the board. You see here as Taymon Cook was wrapped up and then...
Oh, and yanked down.
Yeah, he was yanked down to the ground.
Khalik Anthony. That's a tough one. They're unfortunate nobody was injured.
And again, looked like some movement up front, maybe in the neutral zone, and the flag comes out as Martin is taken down.
And they need to throw that flag sooner. You know, they're waiting. Once he jumps in there, that's a flag. As a quarterback, you kind of wait to see that flag go in there, and that's when you know I have a free play.
Defense.
And you take your deep shot, or you can improvise.
Number 97.
They've been a little bit hesitant to call the offside.
Still. First down.
We apologize for the technical difficulties for the referee, Rory Bernard, not able to hear him, but that's 5 yards forward for A&T.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Jay.
I'll get it right about 80% of the time.
Okay, we appreciate it. And I'm sure the officials really appreciate you too.
Here comes the blitz.
It's B.J. Davis trying to come in on the edge, picked up by the Aggies, now chased out, and Khalil Carter just throws it away. And Corey Banks, did he collect it? Yes, he did. Way to come back for that football.
Fantastic job coming back to the football by Banks. You see Carter flushed out the pocket, a lot of arm strength on that throw. And Banks made a beeline back to his quarterback to come up with a big play against the blitz.
And Buddy Pugh wants to have the officials maybe look that over, given the fact that he wasn't convinced that Corey Banks caught that one.
Yeah, but Buddy, you just can't walk on the field. Stop it. I know this is, your doghouse here, but you can't do that. I'm snapping the ball right now.
Look, he's the elder statesman of the MEAC coaches, and finally the timeout is awarded to South Carolina State.
Yeah, then that's what you do. But Buddy trying to be Buddy the bully. Walked on the field and said, hold on, don't you all have something to look at? We'll see if Buddy Pugh got it right with the challenge when we come back.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
All right, Buddy Pugh still trying to get in the ear of the officials after he wants to have them look over as he wanted to challenge that last catch from North Carolina A&T. Corey Banks came back to get this football. Question is, was it a catch? And it's tough to see from that angle.
Yeah, from that angle we have there, would there be enough to overturn? I don't know. So now, here's the part that gets me. He calls a timeout. Now they want to do the official review. The little buddy's smiling now. I told you.
You knew what he saw, but I'll tell you this. Two well-respected coaches in the conference and throughout FCS football. Sam Washington, who was a long-time assistant under Rod Broadway, and then last season took over as head coach and continued the great winning tradition. But his team here is hopeful that this will remain in his favor, in their favor, with the catch.
And one thing I've learned, they see different angles than we have a look at. So different cameras, different looks that they can take a look at. From the angles we have there, I don't think there's enough to say he absolutely did not make that recovery.
Well, I'll tell you this. Dwight Pettiford, who is the replay coordinator for the MEAC, who isn't here. We'd like to send our thoughts and prayers to him. He's currently battling cancer, but he watches every game, and I know he's probably sitting at home thinking, wait a minute, come on, that would be in my booth right now.
Hang in there, Dwight, man. Good guy. Taught me so much about how to look at the angles that they have to look at and the views and what's a catch, what's not to catch. We always argue about that, but everybody's going to do that. But he was a really good football player at North Carolina Central as well, and went on to an outstanding career as an official.
So as they deliberate and talk this over, you know, Buddy Pugh is full of smiles because he feels like, man, I saw it. I got it right.
I'll tell you what, if they do overturn this, then Buddy's going to be a lot to deal with. He's going to say, I told you guys, I don't know what y'all were looking at. When it just comes down, I don't know if there was enough to overturn it, but they may have a different view that we don't.
Well, you have to have possession of the football and secure it with your arm or your hands. The ball cannot cause the ball to fumble. You have to remain possession all the way to the ground. And that was really a tough catch for Banks to try to come up with.
And if you're taking this long to review it, then you can't be 100% sure. But maybe they're taking a long time to see where the spot is and where they're going to place the football.
And as the officials still have the opportunity to talk it over, I think it's a good time for us to just mention or talk about the fact that, again, these two head coaches have done an amazing job with their programs. Buddy Pugh is all-time winningest coach here at South Carolina State. And Sam Washington.
Let me hold you up there.
Okay.
Time will tell on Sam Washington, right? First year he had a team that was loaded. I think he's a great coach. I mean, he should have been hired away from there a long time ago. It's a great opportunity. We know he can coach, but comparing Pugh to Washington, 18 years versus second-year coach now, he's been around for a while, and I think he's top of his game right there. The great coach off to a great start. But you always got to see how you are during those lean years. You know, A&T's had the best run of any HBCU in recent memory.
Right. Well, as we mentioned, you know, yes, the early start of his head coaching career, but learned under the tutelage of Rod Broadway.
After further review, it was determined that the ball hit the ground prior to the receiver gaining possession. Incomplete pass. It will be second down and 5 at the 42-yard line. Game clock operator.
So the wise one named Buddy Pugh.
Yeah, so 15 minutes later they tell us it's an incompletion. It's all right, we won't get that back. But one thing about Sam Washington, I like to say that, you know, capitalize on that, he believes in discipline and academics. Mm-hmm. That's the formula for success. And he said his team has to be champions on and off the field. I think that's what Aggie pride is all about.
We talk about championships. This gentleman right here, Buddy Pugh, has been a part of 14 of the 16 MEAC championships for South Carolina State, a couple as a player. He also coached under Willie Jeffries, who Hall of Fame coach, absolutely terrific. And he coached him, then he coached under him, and now he took over the program and has taken it to great heights as well.
Aggies 2nd and 5 from the 42.
2nd and 5, North Carolina A&T. And Khalil Carter with nowhere to go, dragged down by Roderick Perry.
And I will tell you, if they don't pick up this first down, that timeout call by Buddy Pugh is going to be huge. See the quarterback draw here, and they're just not fooled by it. Carter tries to call his own number, and Roderick Perry does a good job of beating Lawrence LeGrone at the line of scrimmage for the tackle for a loss.
Perry, who plays for South Carolina State but is from North Carolina. We've talked about this border war between these two teams, and now the Aggies facing 3rd and 7. Bruce Johnson giving the Aggies a free play. Elijah Bell with the reception. He's cut down, but that was a good one by Elijah Bell as the marker's on the field.
Now we know it's going to be offsides, and I'm sure A&T will decline the penalty, but watch Elijah Bell and Jacoby Durant size each other up. That's the offsides. Bell is looking for contact, and Durant wants no part of it. Watch him say, you go low, I'm going lower. That's how you avoid that contact. With a lot
up 13 yards. And Carter trying to go one-on-one, and a dangerous throw is picked off by Jacoby Durant. And it may have been dropped, but whoa. Durant had his eyes on Carter the entire time.
Yeah, they tried to set up the double move, the hitch and go. And it was a great job by Elijah Bell coming back to it. Durant has his football, but Bell with the hard tackle, not allowing Durant to make an easy interception. See, that ball's in his hands, but Bell got that arm in there, able to dislodge the football at the last second.
And Durant, who has been able to kind of stand toe-to-toe with these receivers from A&T, is slow to go to the sideline.
They're going to need him back. He is, without question, their best cover cornerback, maybe one of the best coverage guys in the whole conference. They're taking on a team with the offensive firepower at the wide receiver position that North Carolina A&T has. If you're a Bulldog fan, you hope for a speedy recovery for Jacoby Durant to be able to come back in this football game.
Kendall Moultrie now steps in. And Jermaine Martin on the outside, and he was dragged from behind by Xavier Johnson. Johnson, the redshirt sophomore out of Lakeview, South Carolina, as we mentioned, the same high school as Darius Leonard, one of the terrific players for Buddy Pugh, now in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts.
Just still trying to figure out ways to get Martin involved in the running game, but South Carolina State's done a great job of bottling him up early in this football.
4 rushes for Jermaine Martin, just 7 yards. He's used to averaging about 138 a game. 3rd and 10, and nowhere to go again! The Bulldogs continue to bite! Guess who it is again, Jay?
Xavier Johnson. And this time they run a stunt. You'll see Johnson's going to start off here. Watch him come around and find the quarterback this way. Nice little stunt there. Swim down the line of scrimmage, come around outside edge. Now you see me, now you don't. Big play for the Bulldog defense.
Right now, South Carolina State's defense is dialed in. It's as if they're in the playbook for North Carolina A&T. They continue to come up with big stops, and you go back to Buddy Pugh calling that timeout with that challenge, the non-catch from Corey Banks, and that really slowed things down for A&T.
I mean, huge at that time. You talk about a team with At the time, it just looked like it was 15 yards of field position, but they end up getting a stop, and they're going to get the football back on this punt.
Well, make sure you check out The Undefeated for exclusive HBCU content. Click on the HBCU tab on theundefeated.com. Donovan Dooley has The Undefeated's top HBCU player watch list. I'll tell you, one of the top players in all of FCSJ, John Maine Martin, has not been able to get it going against the Bulldogs defense today.
Keep in mind, he's a guy that gets stronger as the game goes on. Fourth quarter is when he really starts to dominate. The Aggies have been relying upon throwing the ball. That's their game plan. South Carolina State's done a good job keeping the Aggies off the scoreboard.
Rivers gets the punt away, and it bounces out of bounds. South Carolina State winning the border war thus far over the 16th ranked team in the country. We had an opportunity to set up for you just how big this matchup was. Both 3-1 in MEAC play. The loser of this one is not eliminated, but certainly their chances are extremely difficult to vie for a conference championship.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking. I think this is an elimination game, but I think when you take a look at it.
Technically speaking, Jay,
technically speaking, South Carolina State has the victory over Bethune-Cookman already. If they can knock out A&T, then look for them to really be in the driver's seat. That's why I say they can control their own destiny. In North Carolina A&T, they still have a battle coming up against Bethune-Cookman in 2 weeks.
Well, to further that point, you saw in the graphic, Florida A&M currently 5-0 in the conference. They are ineligible for postseason play. So it's really a three-team race with A&T, South Carolina State, and Bethune-Cookman. These final few weekends should get really interesting in a couple weeks. Greensboro, Wildcats coming through from Bethune. Tyree Snick with nowhere to go, and he's swallowed up by the Aggies defense. That's big. Kadarius Kendrick in on the stop along with Michael Branch.
Once you try this pump fake and they don't fall for it, get rid of the football. Get rid of the football. Don't take the sack.
2 sacks for A&T's defense, 3 for South Carolina State today. Both teams are playing exactly the way we expected in terms of their defensive efforts. So difficult, 1 and 2 to run against in the MEAC. One of the best defenses, now 3rd and long. And Nick has to get out of his end zone, and it's a safety. Ball comes loose, but they rule it a safety.
At least the safety first. They'll take a look and see whether or not it was a fumble, whether it becomes a touchdown, but great job of penetration. It's a pack of dogs out there. We keep saying that you're not going to outrun this speedy defense. They give him a little run pass option, throw the ball away. Decides he wants to run it.
And Kion Howard, how about him with the pursuit? Keeping his eye on him.
Running down the line of scrimmage and the speed, and they're fortunate. Split second later, that ball might have been coming out. Slight
That's
movement
really
there, but that knee might have saved them. But you see.
Let's see here. Is the ball coming out, Jay, just before his knee is down? I don't It's
close.
It's so close. Yeah, it's bang.
Definitely
That's
some
a tough
movement. That's
one.
why I say they'll be fortunate if this is just a safety. Let's see. I see movement now, and I think that back knee may be down.
Either way, North Carolina A&T State University puts 2 points on the board, and could they be biting a little bit bigger here from Orangeburg?
Play and the limited time 14-ounce Delmonico. That's how steak is done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Well, Tyree Snick handed North Carolina A&T 2 points after going down in the end zone with that safety, and you've got to think some spatial awareness would have played off there for the Bulldogs quarterback. Meanwhile, the free kick for the Bulldogs, and A&T is likely to get excellent field position from this. Banks coming in to catch it, and Banks has some blockers ahead, trying to get to the outside, but he's brought down just past the 45-yard line by Jaden Brunson.
Well, Jermaine Martin was that guy who we knew they had to have a big game to have some success, but look at the job that South Carolina State has done, clogging the running lanes, just nowhere for him to go. He's got the vision and the speed, but when you've got that many red jerseys that close to the line of scrimmage, it's been a tough day at the office thus far for Martin.
Well, Martin, who racked up 138 yards and 3 touchdowns last week against Howard, only 7 here this afternoon.
I like this now. They're putting William Simpson, number 46, to serve as a fullback in the backfield to try and find some running lanes.
And he created some room for Jermaine Martin.
That's what you do. They're trying to do a number count. Well, give me the beef. 5'11", 280-pound fullback William Simpson. Watch him serve as a lead blocker here, find a crease, and now we're starting to see the Aggies trying to make this game a little bit more physical. Get the crease, lean on him. Martin with the patience. Nice, effective running play by the Aggies.
We expected to see a lot of physicality between these two teams, and Martin once again with the carry. Tried to be tripped up, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Chad Gilchrist. Gilchrist, who backed up Darius Leonard, the great linebacker here, and comes up with the big play, loss of 2.
Gilchrist had to come back and get his starting position back. They lost it a little bit, but now towards the end of the season when it counts, back in that starting lineup, and a nice tackle there on Martin.
Missed the first 4 games. He fought through a knee injury last year. Now 2nd and a dozen for the Aggies offense. Khalil Carter with time, and a man wide open. It's Quinzel Lockhart along the left side trying to hurdle a man. And Quinzel Lockhart with a big reception. Aggies in the red zone, and they smell blood here.
Man, this is great recognition by Khalil Carter. They're going to flood the zone to the left side of your screen, and once he catches the ball, I like the effort here to finish it off. Quinzel Lockhart leaves his feet at the 10-yard line, lands at the 5. Those extra 5 yards make a difference in this type of football game. And Lockhart, the tight end, who they said we're going to put him in a position to make big plays, comes up big.
Pickup of 29, 1st and goal, North Carolina A&T. They hand it off to their horse, Jermaine Martin, and he's in. Aggie touchdown.
Just like that, the Aggies are right back in it with an opportunity to make this a 1-point game, but they'll probably go for 2 to try and tie this football game up. Nice drive from North Carolina A&T. See Martin wait, and you see how quick he got the ball moving half speed and then took 1 cut and accelerated through to the end zone in a hurry.
Bilal Ali helped to seal his block to create that pathway for Martin. And now the Aggies go for 2 to try to even it up.
They're going jump ball.
Banks in motion. And they got a man. They had him falling down in the end zone. Zachary Leslie couldn't come up with it, but we saw the Bulldogs try to jump the gun a little bit.
It was a free play.
Defense. Number 15. Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
But once again, it was a late flag. You have to let the offense know you're getting a free play. I mean, he jumps off sides.
There's B.J. Davis, yeah.
Yep. And then throw the flag. They were a little bit late with the flag, but good job extending the play, trying to find something on the pick rub play on the outside. And Leslie could have come down with that, but now you've got 1.5 yards. It's Martin time.
Yeah.
I like bringing the big fullback. Right now, who wants it more? Can you get 1.5 yards? Yes, they're good against the run, but it's time for North Carolina A&T to try and pound this ball into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
And the Bulldogs.
Charge timeout. South Carolina State. 30-second timeout.
They want to talk it over here as Buddy Pugh may have seen Jermaine Martin. Touchdown run for Martin, the transfer out of Coastal Carolina. And
how did they let him go?
Yeah.
How did they let him go? But when you're hot, things like that happen. Everybody wants to go to North Carolina A&T right now. They've got a roster, a couple transfers that have been some impact players. This right here is just a little dose. It's a 5-yard run, but one cut. Get up the middle in a hurry, and he was off to the races. And now we're going to see if he can capitalize where I think they're going to call on his number here for this 2-point try from a 1.5 yards out.
Martin.
Oh, they changed their mind.
No, they changed their mind and decide a little bit closer, half the distance to the goal line, and they try to go for
1.5 yards to tie the game up, and you're going to settle for being down by 1. You might as well be down by 2. Watch the fake.
And this push on the hold, and the kick is up and through by Ruiz.
What a disappointing extra point. You got to go for that. You have to go for that. You're 1.5 yards away. You were set to do it. They called timeout. They made you change your mind.
The good news, Jay, is that there's still a lot of football to be played, so that will be we'll keep an eye on that. We'll tab that to see if it comes into play later on. But we go back to what really got it going for North Carolina A&T, and it was Tyrese going down in his own end zone.
Yeah, great defense in pursuit, coming up and getting the safety from the linebacker position. That was Kyon Howard doing a good job of tracing down the quarterback, tracking him down, and putting 2 points on the board. Then the offense gets the ball, capitalize with the scoring drive of their own. Just when it seemed like South Carolina State had that momentum, they're going to start pulling away. You're up by 10 with the football. You're thinking, let's increase the lead. And next time they get the ball back, they find themselves in, what did you call it, a dogfight?
A dogfight, for sure. Into the end zone and a touchback.
I mean, this place was hopping.
Yeah.
It's quiet now.
It is, but let me say this. You have to think that North Carolina A&T wants to go for a three-peat. Not only in the MEAC, but also to get to the Celebration Bowl and do it once again. They've won 3 of the last 4 years as it stands. So this is a championship caliber program, as you mentioned, and they're not going down easily, no matter what.
No, they're going to fight, and they're battle tested. And this is one of the premier programs in all of FCS football, not just HBCU football. We saw the resume with an impressive victory over a team that's going to become ranked in Elon. South Carolina State, their resume as well. They beat a ranked Wofford team that was in the top 10. So both these programs are showing us that fight we're going to see in both of them. Controlling the line of scrimmage, making it tough to get some rushing yards.
I think at this point, from what you've seen, what's going to be the key to watch out for the remainder of the game?
Quarterback play. I mean, both teams are committed to stopping the run, so they're going to have to go with Corey Fields. Nick just seems like he's hurting your offense when he's in there, so the young freshman quarterback, Corey Fields, how's he going to do against the pressure that we know A&T is going to put on him for the rest of the game?
Fields back to pass, looking for DeMontrez Burrows, and Burrows couldn't come up with it. Incomplete, now 3rd down. And I think you go back to, I think everybody's heads were turned from Corey Fields. We were here when he put on a great performance against Florida A&M, even though it was a loss, but he was 9 of 13, had a couple of touchdowns, and you thought to yourself, wow, that's South Carolina State's quarterback.
Yep. And then he came out and kind of earned that. They said he's earned the playing time. Tyrese Nick had high expectations, but Corey Fields throughout practice and throughout the games has earned the right to be a quarterback there now. Is he the starter yet? They're still battling for that, but he's earned it with his ability to throw the football.
And he finds his man on the outside, Rodriguez Thomas, the redshirt sophomore out of Anderson, South Carolina, and Mac McCain was able to swing him out.
And this is kind of boring, but this is how you play third down defense. They call it playing to the chains. So you're going to give up everything underneath. See, the first down line is right here. They know that. Keep everything in front of you. And then when the ball leaves the quarterback's hands, come up, make the tackle, short of the first down, bring on your punt team. This is the little things. The good teams do things like that well, knowing where they are on the field. They'll give up the completion, but they'll come up and make the tackle.
The punting unit on, Cliff Benjamin gets it away. Corey Banks sees it sail over his head. And the importance of historically black colleges and universities, plus highlights and stats. And Jay, I think over the last several weeks we have seen some changes in those power rankings. Obviously after today a lot could change as well.
Yeah, I think these are going to be 2 ranked squads you're going to see. I don't give away my power rankings.
I know you don't.
Trying to do, but
I'm not. I'm just teasing it up.
I mean, some people make the argument on who should be number 1,
yeah,
which is rare, but there's an argument on number 1, number 2, and 3, 4, and 5. We'll let you know at halftime.
See? You set that up really well. Proud of you, my friend. Khalil Carter just able to dump it away. And Martin had contact right in his face. Was BJ.
They hitting. They hitting down there, Tiffany. These defensive linemen and offensive linemen, they are going at it. And this is one of those games where you're a running back, you know you're going to be a little time to have balls.
A&T first in the MEAC in 36 points per game. They also have the top scoring defense in the conference, and a nice fake there, and the completion out to Quinzel Lockhart, and Lockhart is able to get the first down. I'll tell you, Lockhart, who transferred over from the Naval Academy, has been a great addition.
Yeah, and he can play that flex tight end for you. So they fake play action to Martin, come right behind him when the linebackers vacate to stop the run. They said we're going to put Lockhart with his versatility in a position to make some plays for us in this football game, and he already has 2 catches.
We'll see how the Aggies operate in their 2-minute drill. He's got a man down the sideline, and Quinzel Lockhart sees this one go out of bounds. A great opportunity there, but just missed from Carter.
Yeah, this was a nice little job of route running by Lockhart. He ran a little delayed look there, but unfortunately not able to connect with Carter on it. But we've seen Lockhart get behind the secondary of South Carolina State a couple times in this ball game. I think they need to identify him. They're so focused on Leslie and Elijah Bell that number 84, he's part of the game plan this week.
4 wide receivers, and Carter decides to keep it himself. Carter, the big guy, moving forward, 5'10", 229 out of Austell, Georgia. And he was brought down by Dwayne Nichols. I'll tell you, you got to always keep your eye out on Khalil Carter because he will tuck it and run. Trying to go for it, 3rd and short, moving ahead. Last time they fumbled the football. This time he holds on to it, and it's close. We'll have to see where they mark it.
That was a real slow-moving quarterback sneak, but you knew they were going to make sure to secure the football first. But I thought the forward progress might have been there. I saw the judge on the far sideline come in with the spot and give him the first down. Here's how you see, watch him. He's going to catch it first. All right, I've got it. Now I'll move my legs. And able to get a little push in the lunge and convert for the first down.
Clock moving after that first down. Carter with time. Tried to go on the outside, and how about Elijah Bell? So I'm going to put my superhero cape on and come down with it. 50-50 balls go in favor of Bell here.
That's his specialty. He's been doing it his whole career in North Carolina A&T. And look at the pocket presence. Way to move around in the pocket, buy a little time, back shoulder throw, trust your wide receiver, and Elijah Bell doing what Elijah Bell does.
Bell, the great product out of Wheeling, West Virginia, all-time leader in touchdowns, reception yards, and again, clock ticking down, 1st and goal. Carter holds on to it, clutches, and gets ahead for a couple of yards positive. Now, North Carolina A&T does have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, now's the time to call a timeout. And good recognition by Carter and the coaching staff at North Carolina A&T. You had the big play. Now you want to talk it over because you have to tell your team what we're going to manage. Not only are we managing our play selection here, but we're managing what do we do if we're caught short of the goal line? What do we do if we're tackled inbounds and the clock is ticking? What a game.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what you want. You know, you start off this ball game, Bulldogs walk away with a field goal, and then they go up 10-0 after a LeBron Morris touchdown. Then the tide turns, and it changes in favor of North Carolina A&T. They come up with the safety and then answer with the Jermaine Martin touchdown. But again, Elijah Bell is just the man, the dude for the Aggies in the receiving corps.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a guy, that's great coverage on the outside by Durant, but Elijah Bell adjusts, and he has the uncanny ability to come down with those type of balls more often than not.
Red zone scoring has been good for the Aggies this season. Carter trying to throw it into the end zone. Corey Banks comes up with it. Touchdown, Aggies.
He threw a dart. Corey Banks, from his wide receiver position, just runs the slant route, comes across the face of Zafir Kelly. And that's an impressive drive by North Carolina A&T. Starts with the protection man. Martin picks it up on the outside, and Banks and Carter do the rest.
Second touchdown of the season for Corey Banks. More importantly, North Carolina A&T takes the lead late in this first half. For the first time today, they're up 16-10.
Starts with the protection. I like the job that Martin does coming up to pick up the blitzing slot receiver. You know, without him doing the blitz pickup, Khalil Carter's on his back. Oh yeah, Carter knows the tide has changed here in Orangeburg, and the Aggies are starting to show them what Aggie pride is all about.
But if you're the offense, you're going to thank number 54, Kion Howard, who was responsible for bringing Nick down and that safety. And since then, the Aggies have scored 16 straight.
And I think South Carolina State has played well, but it was two plays that really got him. And I start with the sack that Nick took before that to put him back close to the goal line. And then he took another sack. So two consecutive plays, which I thought Tyrese Nick could have gotten rid of the football, ended up costing South Carolina State the momentum in this football game and ultimately the lead.
And remember, North Carolina A&T will get the ball in the second half.
Come here, and the key thing, you have to win inside. Shorten the route if you need to, but watch him stretch it up. And then, one cut. That's just too much cushion from number 7. You got to threaten him. He's looking like he was expecting help. There was no help coming. They were blitzing. That was one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. You don't switch off on those routes.
And so from the 25-yard line of South Carolina State, the Bulldogs will look to just go into the locker room trailing by 6.
And the way they dominated, I mean, they have kept Martin basically ineffective in this football game, but it goes back to those two plays from their quarterback that really hurt the Bulldogs.
Well, A&T has new life as they head into the locker room, and their fans are feeling good about the fact that even though Jermaine Martin hasn't gone off, they're leading 16-10. We told you it'd be a dogfight from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and the first half is already through. We want you to stick around for halftime, and this second half promises to be quite interesting. We'll hope you'll come back with us.
In person?
I am, yeah.
LOL, come on in.
This is tech that helps you be there. The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class.
Historically black colleges and universities have played a vital role in educating some of the best and brightest minds in the world, and they're also the gatekeeper of some outstanding athletic talent. Without HBCUs, there would be no Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Doug Williams, or in this case, Tariq Cohen.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? My name is Tariq Cohen.
I was wondering if you could take a look at my highlights and tell me if I would be a fit to join your wonderful football program. If you could, take a look and give me any feedback. Please and thank you, Tariq Cohen. I would write those letters to the position coach and the recruiting coordinator. My senior year, I think I had 1,500 rushing yards, and I had like 30-plus touchdowns. I was getting nervous because my teammates were starting to get offers, so I would just look at their recruiting visits and just wish I was on them. As the season went on, it grew to a whopping 0.
0 is not a number, but an absence, in this case, of hope, that afflicts so many kids like Tariq, full of talent and desire, but lacking opportunity.
HBCUs were started because there was no other place for black students to learn. Most early on were started by religious institutions, churches. There were no white institutions that would admit black students back after Reconstruction. And so black folk knew that they had to educate themselves, and so they started first at smaller schools, still even on the plantations. And then eventually they moved to campuses, mostly in the South, built those campuses through resources of their own, and started over 100 of these schools around the country.
HBCUs provide them an education and the chance to better their lives, give them opportunities that they had been denied as slaves.
Among the opportunities denied was the chance to play football. Over a century and a quarter ago, the first black college football game was played between Livingstone College and Johnson C. Smith, then named Bigelow University, and a new era began.
It gives a lot of individuals an opportunity to be able to achieve something, whether or not it's athletically, academically, to a place that they can be comfortable and at the same time learn who they are and what they have to deal with in America.
Some, would find their ways to the Power 5 schools, clearly good enough to play there, but they don't have the opportunities, and that's the big thing. Those athletes would lose twice: the opportunity to compete and the academic opportunity.
The only schools that offered me back then was HBCUs. I don't know where I would be if it had not been HBCU.
Don't have the funds to pay for college and go play football. I was going to enlist in the Navy. A historically black university gave me my only opportunity. North Carolina A&T gave me my only scholarship offer. Without them, I don't know where I would be.
Wow, man, just to think that if there was no HBCU, make me tear up, because so many people I know, and that means something to me, attended HBCUs because they couldn't go anywhere else.
The new 911. Timeless machine.
We're rocking and grooving up here in the booth as the North Carolina A&T blue and gold marching machine.
Most improved band I've seen in a long time.
Look, they got me rocking on this slow jam. 16-10, Aggies with the lead. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green, and it's time for this week's Gimme 5.
Yeah. All right, got a lot going on here. But gotta get my groove on first.
Wait, okay, yeah. Turn me up in the headphones.
All right, how about this? 5 guys that are playing at these institutions that are currently in the NFL. Let's go get it started. How about Joe Thomas? Now, he was a unique story because while Joe Thomas was a rookie in the NFL, his dad was playing linebacker for South Carolina State, so that family just likes to hit. Number 4, let's go to the offensive line, the trenches. Brandon Parker, before he became an Oakland Raider, played at North Carolina A&T, won a couple of those Celebration Bowl trophies they like to call hardware around here. 3, one of the most dominating defensive linemen I've ever seen was Javon Hargrave. I saw him single-handedly beat North Carolina A&T. No surprise when he went to the NFL and got busy with the Pittsburgh Steelers, doing what we knew he could do first.
Well, we know that the Bulldogs produce great defensive talent, so we're going to stay on that train?
Yeah, I mean, this is a school that produced like Harry Carson, Donnie Shell, and stuff like that. Well, next generation, how about this? Current reigning NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Indianapolis Colts, Darius Leonard. And Leonard was a man amongst boys when he played here. That game against Clemson, he had like 14 tackles, proved he could play at an elite level, went to the NFL, and he quite simply, he dominated everybody in front of him.
Who's number one?
Come on now, Tiff. You know I like offense. Come on. Tariq Cohen, the most dominating running back I've seen in my two eyes the whole time I've been covering HBCU football. He was an explosive playmaker. Every time the lights were on, Tariq Cohen got busy. Went to the Chicago Bears, and what did he continue to do? Continue to get busy. Tariq Cohen, currently in the NFL, started his career at North Carolina A&T. On the bubble, not quite making the list. We'll go defense for you, Tiff. Tony McRae, outstanding defensive back, currently playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. He was a ball player. He's getting it done. Think I left anybody out? Which I didn't. You know I get this right, Tiff.
Goodness.
Hit me up at Black College Live on Twitter, and we can debate it, maybe.
I love it. Hope you did, too. We'll be back with more from the Bird. Now get a chance to look at the Marching 101 of South Carolina State, because win 100 won't do.
You need 101.
16-10, our score here. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green. All right, so we got Gimme 5. Now it's time for the HBCU Power Rankings. We talked about it a little bit, and we gave a little tease, but now let's unveil.
Can I start off by letting you know whose power ranking is it? It's Jay's power ranking.
Jay's.
So what do you think? It
nauseam.
doesn't matter what you think.
Ad nauseum.
These are my power ranking. I always get it right, Tiff. You know that. So let's get it going. Number 5, off a loss last week, but I'll forgive you. Southern University, you're number 5. Still think they're the team to beat in the western part of the SWAC. So if they can hold on, win out, they'll have a chance playing in the SWAC championship game. Number 4, South Carolina State. We see how good they are. They've got a championship caliber defense. Can the offense catch up? I've got the Bulldogs at number 4. Number 3, somebody's going to flip-flop. North Carolina A&T. They were number 1 for most of the season, but coming off that loss, had to drop them down in the rankings. They come in number 3. The number 2 team knocked off the number 3 team, the Rattlers. What do the Rattlers do?
Strike.
They strike. And they strike again. They strike. The number 2 team in my power rankings. The Millennium continues. Florida A&M playing good football. Ryan Stanley, the quarterback, is a difference maker for them. They got to keep him healthy. And number 1, they've been under the radar, but they've been dominating. Alcorn State University, Fred McNair, I'm going to give you credit. You found that young boy, Felix Harper, as your quarterback, and he is getting busy lighting it up.
All right, so that's the top 5. Who comes in on the bubble?
Bethune-Cookman. I still think you're going to hear from the Wildcats, and close your ears because I know Rattler fans don't like hearing that, but Bethune-Cookman still has an opportunity to make a difference. And Alabama A&M, with that offense that they have, if they get it going and the defense and catch up, A&M may make a push against Alcorn for that spot in the eastern part of the conference.
Well, they take on Southern, so that one will be interesting from Baton Rouge. Meanwhile, good one brewing here from the Palmetto State.
So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's here from Oliver C. Dawson Stadium. We're at the half between North Carolina A&T, the 16th ranked team in the country. They're up by 6 over South Carolina State. And here's how we got to this point. You go back, it was South Carolina State early on in this ball game, Jay.
Yeah, Jermaine Martin came in as the featured running back, leading rusher in all of FCS football, but there's quite simply been no place for him to go. They have clogged the line of scrimmage, forcing Martin to take runs for loss. They've been very aggressive up front. The defensive line for South Carolina State has made an impact in this football game.
So then you go to the turning point for North Carolina A&T and this big play.
Yeah, down 10-0. South Carolina State has the ball, but you see Nick does not get rid of the football, holds on to it, and then again, the very next play, holds on to the football again, and that became a safety that gave him 2 points. And on the next drive, there go Jermaine Martin. Found a way to get into the end zone right before the half with less than a minute to go. Touchdown strike from Khalil Carter to Corey Banks.
16 unanswered point for the Aggies, and really South Carolina State controlled that time of possession, especially after a quarter and a half, and then A&T kind of grabbed it back. But this is going to be an interesting finish for both. And then you look on the stands, like the fans are appreciating the marching one-on-one, right?
The band's supposed to be off the field.
No.
And they're still going. The clock is at 0. They're like, we are going to play our set until the set is done.
We're going to get it in. We practiced for this all week.
A&T kickoff return team is on the field. And look at the South Carolina State band just now leaving. Only in HBCU football, y'all. You will not start until we play our set. I hear you. They practice all week prepared. They want to play every song.
Absolutely. And why not? I'm not mad at them.
And they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, they were. Very good sound from the marching 101. Well, A&T will get the ball to start the second half. And again, let's just remind you of what's at stake. So both teams that we're seeing today, 3-1 in the conference.
If I do this, will you be mad?
Well, no, look, that's the common opponent with the loss.
Would you be mad with that one?
No, I mean, it is what it is. Ineligible for postseason, right? But their common losses between the two teams is Florida A&M, and Bethune-Cookman with the bye week right now is awaiting to see the end of this one. And Jay, how about this? The officials just gave South Carolina State a delay of game for their band being on the field. And what happened? A&T declined it. They get it.
Oh, that's classy.
They get it.
Yeah, that's classy. They get it. But I think that North Carolina A&T realized that they've got the delay of game because A&T went over in their set. they went about a minute or two over, but that's a good quality act right there. They moved the crowd. Everybody was into it. Let's get ready to play some football.
Sam Washington is ready to see what his offense can do in this second half. Back to receive it is Tamon Cook, and Tamon Cook along the left side, and Cook is still on his feet, shakes off a couple of defenders, and then he's rung up just near the 45. Well, good return to start the second half for the Aggies, and more importantly, it gives them really good field position.
And we've seen North Carolina A&T, when they get the ball in good field position, they put points on the board. They had the one drive stop because of the quarterback center exchange on the fumble, but besides that, they've been able to move the ball whenever they had decent field position. See if the Aggies can get off to another good half.
And you look at the numbers of the leading rusher in FCS, just been held to 24 yards so far today. The first play of the second half, they give it to Jermaine Martin, and Martin, just a strong man run right there.
He's just mad. He can run angry. He's like, just give me the ball. The first guy's not going to bring me down. I mean, if the official's not there, he might have been off, but watch him just slip through this hole right there. Not a lot there. Lower the shoulder pad, the pad level. He's ready to take off, and he stiff arms the umpire. That's some good hard-nosed running.
Well, that's the best run of the day for Jermaine Martin.
And look at this alignment here. They're trying to overload the box, bring the fullback in and an extra tight end.
Try to create a running path for Khalil Carter, and Carter is the dude this time. Khalil Carter says, hey, don't forget about me, because I've been a South Carolina State heartbreaker since my freshman year.
And they're winning the numbers game. Look at all the bodies you see. So you got the 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, 6, 7. So that means it's 7 on 7. But what about the quarterback? Quarterback is number 8. He finds a crease and hurts. I like the design by offensive coordinator Chris Barnett to free his quarterback up for the run.
So we saw 3 straight passes to open the offensive possession for A&T. This half, they're going on the ground, and the pass complete to Corey Banks. Banks, remember, caught that touchdown to put them up 16-10.
And there's so much man-to-man coverage being played by both teams. As a quarterback, whoever has the best day throwing the football, their team will probably win. They're open wide receivers. At this level of play, you just can't play that much man-to-man coverage unless you're hitting the quarterback. And the offensive line for A&T is doing a good job protecting Carter.
3 plays, 3 first downs for the Aggies here. Carter going on the outside, and he finds Elijah Bell, and Bell is wrapped up by Jacoby Durant, but again, continuing to move forward and quickly.
Yeah, it's just man-to-man coverage. So you pick a matchup. Who do I want to get the football to? I like my 6'1", 225-pound receiver. Get it to him early, see if he can make a play.
In his freshman year, he was the MEAC Rookie of the Year, a 3-time all-conference selection at that wide receiver spot, and a great leader who is now healthy this year in his final year. Carter going for that 50-50 ball, and Elijah Bell almost came up with it.
Oh, he had it. He had it there. Good job of creating some space. I don't know why he looks for a pass interference. He's the more physical guy there, unless he was held. I mean, the DB has a right to go up and jump for that football, too. He just didn't let him get his second arm in there.
So that brings up 3rd and 4. And what do you do? Because they've had success both ways.
This is what I like. Because they threw the jump ball, now you're going to get the cornerback some help. So they're going to get some help. So that safety's going to go over there and help. This may be the time that you decide to run the football.
Instead, Carter stands up, pass. He has a little bit of room, heaves it up and out of bounds. And so that'll bring up 4th down. And as of now, that's a big win for the Bulldogs defense.
Nice stop. And there's no place to go with the football. Settling for the fade route. This is a big kick for North Carolina A&T if they can go up by 9 early in the second half.
Noel Ruiz, who has been pretty money all season for the Aggies, on to attempt the 23-yard field goal. Remember, he hit that game winner, 52 yards against Elon. The snap, hold is good, it's up, and through the uprights. So that pushes the lead to 2 scores, 19-10, 16th ranked Aggies on top.
The new 911. Timeless machine.
Let's take a look at today's Bringing the Flavor, brought to you by McDonald's. Jay, I would give some good money if you would like suit up as like a drum major and try to run in the middle of the field and then boom, hit the split.
I'm not going to do the splits, but I can do the drum major part. But I thought you were going to say, why don't you like carry a tuba or sousaphone around, something like that. I'm glad you didn't go there.
No, you like to be the leader, the star of the show, you know.
But you teased me when I told you what my favorite instrument was growing up. Remember I told you it was the
piccolo. Traquan DeBose on the return, and a marker from the opposite side of the field thrown into the pile. I would have expected something like a trumpet or a trombone, but a piccolo?
As a kid, I liked the piccolo, but as the older I get, if I had to pick now, I'd pick the saxophone.
The saxophone?
Yeah, saxophone.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 22. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
All right, so that'll push the Bulldogs back.
So coming up on the left side, you see right there, number 22, and they're just going to call that for player safety purposes. Anytime there's an opportunity to protect the player, hitting anybody in the back, they're going to flag it quickly.
And Corey Fields starting this second half, 7 of 11 through the first 2 quarters and just over 100 yards. The redshirt freshman is ready to get it going. Tucks it, runs, and takes a big hit. And he was stood up by Kion Howard and Joseph Stuckey.
Now this is how you finish it. He's the hitter, inside linebacker, number 8, waiting for him to go someplace, and then comes in there and bends him backwards for the tackle.
Well, Stuckey, who is a big hammer, but so is Kion Howard. Howard, who again got A&T on the board with that safety back in the second quarter. No gain on the play, and Demontrez Burrows gets it just near the sticks, but he's driven back by Najee Reams.
And one thing that Corey Fields does well, he gets the most out of his pre-snap read, meaning it doesn't take him long to throw the football. And as a receiver, you like that. Come out your break, ball's right on you. That means he's anticipating where he's going with the football, and he gets rid of that ball quickly. And I think that's the difference why this offense becomes more explosive, because he's not looking to run first. He wants to throw it first.
Well, they say that he is the next best passer since Malcolm Long, as he sees it go in and out of the hands of Shaq Davis. And you think about what Malcolm Long did here at South Carolina State. 3-year starter, won 3 MEAC titles, and took him to 3 FCS playoff appearances.
And almost, I just can't forget, they almost beat Appalachian State on the road up there in Boone, North Carolina. But he had this program playing at its highest level.
The handoff and slammed down to the ground as the ball carrier, Jermaine Daniel, was able to wrestle Morris down. Morris, who had a touchdown in the first half, picked up 3 there.
And this is where you have to know, as an offensive coordinator, A&T is going to keep the ball in front of you. So making you call routes in which your receivers get enough depth to pick up the first down. If you run a curl combination on the outside, you'll probably have an opportunity to pick up the first down.
And he goes to Shaq Davis, and Davis catches that one, tries to high step a little bit. And look, Shaq Davis had a couple of catches that he just missed out on back in that first half. He was able to bring that one in.
Yeah, and this is the curl route we talked about. He's going to go up, get 10 yards, turn around. Football's going to be delivered, nicely thrown pass. And a little bit of high stepping down the sideline for Shaq Davis.
Gain of 29 across midfield. DeBose in motion. 3 receivers down to the bottom of your screen. And Fields trying to set up that screen. And Morris just couldn't come up with it. He was looking ahead.
Continue to throw the football. That's going to be the key. You have to trust this young freshman. He's going to have to grow up before your eyes. They've earmarked that the running backs and the running plays won't get there.
Bulldogs on 2nd and 10. Fields feels the pressure. He steps up and finds a little crease. Stays on his feet, and a pickup of the first down and more. Corey Fields making something out of nothing.
And A&T defenders must say, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the throwing quarterback. We didn't know you could run like this, but a good job of buying some time. Decides to run the football. Nice move on the outside. Picks up a big first down for the Bulldogs.
So Fields picks up this first down, and then they take him out and put Tyrese Nick in. Why?
I think Fields tapped himself out after the long run. He wanted to catch his breath a little bit. And be surprised if you don't see him come back in there. But that's a problem. You got that rotating quarterback system. Like, one gets a rhythm, then another one comes in, and then you're hot and you're cold. And I'm a little surprised they put Tyrese Nix in there, but I just think you see he's still trying to get some oxygen over there on the sideline.
Where you get a good glimpse of how Fields and Nick have pushed each other at that quarterback position all season long. 2nd and 8. And Nick decides to try to put it in the air, and that was dangerous. Very fortunate to get away. And again, Kyan Howard, so active for the linebackers for the Aggies.
And I'm not even going to put that on Nick. I'm not, because you know why I'm saying this? When he gets in the game, you know he's not seeing stuff well. Don't call a pass play when Tyrese Nick's in the game. I mean, he's trying to throw right through 2 yellow defenders. Very fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted. He's just uncertain in the passing game, but they're going to keep them both on the field now.
Well, we saw this back in the first half, and it was Fields who completed the pass to Nick. And now on 3rd and 8, an empty backfield for Fields. And the pressure coming, nowhere to go, but still Fields stays alive, and then he's taken down. Justin Cates was the man. But you saw the pressure coming up front from the Aggies. Hard to...
Side adjustment. They say when you go empty, that means nobody's in the backfield. You've got 5 linemen here. They're going to put 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all coming. You have to know that. So when they come, you got to throw that ball away right away. You're trying to make people miss. Can't work. That's a great adjustment by the North Carolina A&T defense. They go empty, blitz them.
Continuing to make an impact is the true freshman, Jacob Roberts. He was the first to try to get a hand on the quarterback. And this one bounces into the end zone. 35-yard punt, but you go back to the pressure from the Aggies defense, feeling it. A sack once again for North Carolina A&T. A bit higher.
They play high level. How about Baylor, though? Undefeated Baylor. We know they're in the Big 12, but I just, if they knock off, Texas, some other teams, you got to give them a shot.
Taking a shot, but couldn't get to him. Khalil Carter, and Carter up ahead for 9 yards. Chad Gilchrist on the tackle, and A&T's offense has continued to pick up, scored 17 of their 19 points of the game in their last 3.
And I want to see what A&T is made of right now. This is that championship time. You've got to lead by 9. Are you going to expand on that lead or settle and let the other team try and play themselves back into it? If they can score some points right now, it makes the job that much tougher for South Carolina State.
And what I think I know of Sam Washington, I think he's going to keep his foot on the gas. Khalil Carter, who has engineered this offense, can do it through the air and with his legs, and Carter continues to move ahead. Big hit from Dwayne Nichols. But what have you seen from Khalil Carter today?
We know he likes to run the football. I like the ball distribution, but watch him set up the block. The patience. Set it up, let Jermaine Martin get out there, then he's not afraid to mix it up, and he actually trucks Dwayne Nichols at the end of the run. But I really do like his ball distribution, the way he's been throwing the football with wide receivers. Hadn't come close, really to an interception.
The handoff to Jermaine Martin, and Martin, you saw him already speeding. I mean, he just had a good start on that one, and he turned the corner just a little bit. James Brunson pushing him out.
And watching them run, I'm trying to think about who his style reminds me of. I remember when Isaiah Crowell was at Alabama State. It's like you could tell he just had an extra gear that not everybody on the field has. Seems like that for Jermaine Martin.
They give him a spell. Kayshawn Baker is in, and Baker does his job, picks up the first down. We've seen so many terrific running backs run through North Carolina A&T over the last several years. Jermaine Martin is the newest iteration of that, as he only needs 7 yards to get to 1,000 this season. He's out of the ball game.
Quarterback run.
And they got the big guys up front clearing the way, and just tripped up was Khalil Carter. Carter wanted a little bit more, but the Bulldogs just stuck out of hand.
And they're going to keep that package going. They bring in the big fella. And when they're in the backfield package, you see that. So they've got both fullbacks in the game, acting as lead blockers, and Khalil Carter running the football.
Kayshawn Baker back in the ball game. And they hand it off to Baker, and Baker is undercut by Jonell Brown. Brown, the 5th-year senior out of St. Stephen, South Carolina. And so now a critical 3rd down. As you mentioned, Jay, what would A&T do on this drive up by 9?
Passing situation here, because yards are so hard to come by. And if you're South Carolina State, don't blitz. This is where you change up. You've been playing nothing but man-to-man coverage. Play aggressive zone defense.
Both Lockhart and Banks in the slot on both sides. Instead, he eyes down Elijah Bell. And Elijah Bell, what have you liked from him this game and this season?
He's playing physical. He's a physical guy. So we've seen him go make the 50-50 catch. Now we're seeing him on the slant route. We've seen him run after getting the catch. He's a pretty complete package, and that's why he's an NFL prospect. NFL teams come in there and they want to know, how do you come down with the football when it's thrown your way, and he just makes plays.
Basketball product out of Wheeling, West Virginia, and recruited for football. Now Carter thought about it and decided to hold on to it, and Carter is near the first down, but there's a flag.
Flag on the play.
When quarterbacks leave the pocket and run, normally it's going to be a holding penalty.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
You're going to call the holding on Javis Reed, the tight end. They're sealing the edge. See it right there in the center of your screen. Just let him go, release. Quarterback was already out of containment.
So now 1st and 18 from the 35, and Carter finds Quinzel Lockhart. Lockhart, who had a solid first half, brought down by Dwayne Nichols, but a guy that you mentioned, Jay, who's so versatile in this offense. They can line him up anywhere. That's good for 13 yards.
And you see the quick decision from Carter with the play action, and then ball gets tipped just a little bit, but great concentration by Lockhart.
2nd and 5, and just off the hands of Lockhart, he was going for him once more.
We'll call that run that back.
Yeah.
It worked the first time. They liked the look. There wasn't a change in personnel from South Carolina State. So North Carolina A&T tried to go back to the same play.
Well, A&T was started with good field position, is continued to convert on 3rd downs on this drive. Now 5 to go. The line of game just about the 17.
Watch Baker out of the backfield.
Carter with time, running to his right, decides to go for it himself, and again, making good decisions. That's exactly what the coaches love about Khalil Carter.
They had a special play call for Baker coming out of the backfield. Carter recognized he was double teamed. That means if 2 people are running with number 25, if I can just get outside of the defensive line, I can pick up this first down. Great effort running forward with that lean, recognizing where the first down marker was. Tough play by Khalil Carter.
Now, Carter is just one of those players who has been in this program, who has been so special to the Aggies over his career. Come up with key plays in big moments for this team, and Carter gets it away to Quinzel Lockhart, and he's quickly wrapped up and brought down. You go back to 2015, and really this is the chance where everyone got to see him grow up. Last-second touchdown on the road in a hostile environment, and the Aggies come out with a victory over South Carolina State, and he's been building on that since that time.
Yeah, he was the backup to Ray Nard, who was a quarterback there, 4-year starter quarterback. He was always his backup, and I remember the throws he made against East Carolina when they pulled off those upsets on the road. Battle tested, and this is his year to be a starter, and he's trying to make the most of it.
Khalil Carter says, I'm going to do it myself. Carter has run the ball well on this one. He missed last year's Celebration Bowl, so you got to think in his final season, he is hungry to get back to Atlanta.
And doing a good job with his decision-making in the running game, protecting the football, picking up every yard.
And North Carolina A&T seeing the 14th play of this drive right here. Bill tried to survey it. He was thinking about something, but instead it brings up 2nd and goal.
That was good defense by South Carolina State. They tried to free Bell on a rub play. They ran around it and able to push him out of bounds for basically a flat play. I'd go back to that jump ball. I wouldn't give up on the jump ball to whoever got one of the smaller defensive backs guarding them.
Well, this North Carolina A&T drive, over 7 minutes now. The handoff to Jermaine Martin up the middle, and he's swallowed up by the Bulldogs. No gain. Paul McKeever was right there.
This is a big play right here. for South Carolina State. They need to get a stop. If you can limit North Carolina A&T to just a field goal, and you're only down by 12.
Third down.
Huge play right here. What can the defensive line dial up for the Bulldogs?
William Simpson, the fullback, to protect. Carter looks to the sideline. The offense gets the call. 3rd and goal. Carter looking for his man. And it's a touchdown. Zachary Leslie came up with it.
You know this play will be reviewed.
Without a doubt.
With no question. They ran what we call a Seattle route. 3 receivers ran slant routes, trying to just pick a matchup. This ball was dying. No catch. Got his hands underneath the football. However, the ball clearly
bounces out about
right there, hits the ground. And that's a great job of capturing that shot by the camera crew.
And so the officials will go over to review it, and likely to be an incomplete pass. And so if you're South Carolina State, your defense holds and forces them to kick a field goal. Again, and this was a long drive from the Aggies in this 3rd quarter, over 7 minutes.
Yeah, I remember, thinking around that 8-minute mark, hey, this is a time for a championship drive. Well, they moved the ball down there. They're going to expand their lead, but how much by? But that's real impressive for Sam Washington. Anytime you go in there at halftime and you can make the adjustments, that's how I judge great coaches. How do teams start off the game and how do they come out the locker room? And A&T came out offensively on the go.
So Rory Bernard looking it over, but again, we talked to Sam Washington this week, and he felt like this group was as athletic talented as the. Well, here's the call.
Hit the ground prior to the receiver gaining possession. It will be an incomplete pass. 4th down at the 5-yard line.
Athletically as talented as teams pass, they just didn't have the experience. But that was an impressive long drive, and even though they may come up with just 3 points, it still, more importantly, winds down the clock and extends the lead potentially.
Yeah, because the question marks for A&T were their defensive line. They lost Daryl Johnson to the NFL a season ago, and Ragland and all those guys had been mainstays there. But so far, their credit, this year's group of defensive linemen, they've risen to the occasion.
22-yard attempt for Noel Ruiz, and Ruiz gets it up, and it's good. He's 2 for 2 on the afternoon, and extending that lead out to now a dozen for the 16th ranked.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here in over 8 minutes, or nearly 8 minutes for that drive for A&T. It resulted in a 22-yard field goal, but 16 plays, and that's one way to wear down a defense.
Impressive drive there. They answered the call. Up by 9. The key, I believe, in that situation, expand your lead. Make the job that much tougher for your opponent. And Sam Washington's Aggies responded.
And so the question now is, how can South Carolina State get back in this ball game? We mentioned both came in 3 wins and 1 loss in the conference. The winner of this one puts themselves in good position to vie for a conference championship. The loser of this one makes it extremely difficult. Not technically out of it, but
knowing this stuff the way I know it, we've been covering it for a while, this is an elimination game. I think both teams know that. You can have a false hope that somebody's going to get upset down the road, but just think that everybody pretty much knows whoever wins this game is going to still have a shot at competing for a championship.
Well, A&T, who has won 10 MEAC titles, they're back-to-back.
Out of bounds. Kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
They're back-to-back defending MEAC champions, but when you look at South Carolina State, they've got a grand total of 16 MEAC titles. When you go through their school profile, founded in 1896, and this is a school with a proud history. We talked to their president, James Clark.
They missing some names on that list. You got to talk about Harry Carson.
Harry Carson, the Hall of Famer.
Got to talk about Donnie Shell. And just to get my classmate off my back, my MEAC Hall of Fame classmate, I'm going to mention Chartrick Darby. Got to mention Darby, Robert Porcher. Oh, they've had some good ones down here. Rest in peace, Orlando Brown, Big Zeus.
Fields on the carry, and I think even more impressively, the Hall of Famers, right? So there's so much history and tradition around South Carolina State. They're trailing by 12. Can they come back in the fourth quarter?
So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
South Carolina State had the lead over the 16th ranked team in FCS, but the North Carolina A&T Aggies have scored 22 straight points, and that's how we find ourselves at the score. Starting the fourth quarter, Corey Fields connects with Demontrez Burrows, and Burrows just near midfield, and he's brought down by Jalen Bethea.
And I think the good thing for South Carolina State, it's now Corey Fields' game. He's going to come out and he's going to play the rest of this game, and he's going to throw the football, and he can score points in a hurry. Just ask Florida A&M about his performance against them.
Oh, yeah, he was on point against the Rattlers. He had completed like 7 or 8 straight passes before his first incompletion.
And that's the difference. When you have a quarterback, being down by 12 points is nothing. If you got a quarterback that can throw it and hurt you from the pocket, you can have a quick strike offense. You're never really out of a game until you're out of it officially.
And Demontrez Burrows on that last reception has been the favorite target all game long for really both quarterbacks. But you have to always keep your eye out on Shaq Davis, the one who has a lot of potential. He's at the bottom of your screen, sitting at 6'5". Fields looks his way, gets behind the defense, and just misthrown there as Davis was open.
Yeah, I think Davis had a hard time locating the football. That's where you want to go with the football in that situation there. Had to get rid of it because of the pressure. And that's where they say Shaq Davis is going to be a great receiver. They always say that he's going to be great. But once he gets a little better, he'll know that the blitz is coming, look for the ball a little bit sooner than normal because the quarterback may have pressure.
And that brings up 3rd and 10 now, just across midfield. And the Bulldogs, where do you go? Fields with time, trying to go over, has Demontrez Burrows with the touchdown! Give me some!
He can throw it. I mean, watch Corey Fields' pocket presence. Stay in the pocket, settle, go through your reads, lead your receiver. Perfectly thrown ball down the seam. South Carolina State, when you got a quarterback that can throw it, you're never out of it, and the Bulldogs respond in a big way.
49-yard touchdown catch from Demontrez Burrows. And South Carolina State is still in it. Demontrez Burrows said, "I got you." Beating Miles Simon, dragging 2 defenders.
Popular Flo's Filet and the limited time 14-ounce Delmonico. That's how steak is done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Yeah.
Greek Day from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and the fans inside the stadium have something to cheer about. South Carolina State down by just 5 points after that Corey Fields touchdown pass to DeMontrez Burrows. And you think back to when Fields was in the game against Florida A&M, we alluded to it, Jay. He was able to bring his team close, just came up short, but he's a guy who can keep you in the ball game and potentially win it for you. Tamon Cook on the return, and it was just a couple weeks ago, right here in Oliver C. Dawson Stadium. Fields comes in, fourth quarter. He connects with Shaq Davis. It's 35-30 at this point. Then the block punt from Khalik Anthony, and Anthony giving them the 38-35 advantage. But Ryan Stanley, showing off his leadership, finds Marcus Williams in the end zone and the touchdown.
And South Carolina State was that close. I mean, that's what you want. They had the lead with 1:08 to go in the football game, and they gave it up on poor field position, and Florida A&M behind Ryan Stanley delivered as they came into Orangeburg and took a victory from the Bulldogs.
A&T getting it going with Jermaine Martin. Martin, the leading rusher in FCS, putting on a few moves, and flags come flying out.
And while they sort this out, let's not forget that Florida A&M game. When Fields got in the game, they were like done. They were down by 21 points. And he came in and hit 9 consecutive passes, threw touchdown strikes, and brought them back that close to victory.
Holding. Offense. Number 13. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
You talk about a drive killer, holding on first down on Elijah Bell. He comes across in motion and he's engaged there. Tough call. A little bit of a takedown. He had a double team. That's why I thought they might not call it, but it's the right call.
They hand it back off to Jermaine Martin. Martin slips one tackler, but nowhere to go after that. Jonell Brown was the first to get to him.
And you just have a feel that South Carolina State defensive line, anytime Martin runs a football and they stop him, that hypes them up. That gets them hyped. They're coming out here playing with one sole purpose, is to not let Jermaine Martin make a difference, and they've done a great job.
And they're minus one of the big guys, Robert Crouch, who had ACL surgery. And he was like 400-plus pounds, stuff in the middle. Carter with time finds Bell, and Bell holds on to the football. Good catch by Elijah Bell, drawing them a little bit closer, bringing them in within about 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way to use that body on the slant route or the skinny post route they're trying to throw here. Now watch Carter deliver this ball. Holds his free safety in the middle of the field, throws a strike.
Big 3rd and 3 here.
They're gonna throw the ball. I mean, they're looking to the sideline to throw the ball. It's so much man-to-man coverage being played by South Carolina State. Off the football, pick a matchup, go to the outside.
Tried to force it in there, but great defense there. That was Kendall Moultrie, the redshirt freshman, in on the breakup.
Yeah, they elected to go with the slant route, even though they had outside-in coverage. And I could tell from up here in the booth, the place to go was the top of the screen on top, but they called the slant. Nice break on the ball. And Zach Leslie not able to come down with it. Big stop for the Bulldogs.
And now you can feel them starting to pull the chain back in their direction. They saw 22 unanswered points go in favor of the Aggies, but that touchdown is now giving South Carolina State some extra oomph.
I mean, just think about it. South Carolina State trailing by 9. A&T's going into the end zone with a chance to increase the lead by a lot. They settle for a field goal, and the Bulldogs have responded ever since.
We'll kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the ESPN app at 10 Eastern. Randy ranks with the best college football catches, plus an inside look at the Patriots' top-ranked defense. All the early breaking stories right up to kickoff. Then our Monday Night Football matchup has Dak Prescott taking on the Giants Monday at 8 Eastern. Corey Fields going forward, has a man wide open in Demontrez Burrows. One more time, get behind the secondary. Testing him. Najee Reeves brings him down. Demontrez Burrows saying, I'm playing like a grown man today.
And he's continued to make the secondary look like little boys, getting behind them, hurting them for the big plays over the top.
Quick slap, and LeBron Morris up ahead for just about one. But that 56-yard reception from Demontrez Burrows, man, is he coming up in the right time.
Their sluggo route, fakes the slant, then go. We call it a sluggo, and a good job of execution. Eyeing up Najee Reeves, getting him in his crosshairs, and exploding for the big play once again.
So now they're in the red zone, and Jay, you know they want to walk away with points, and Fields trying to go with Burrows once again. This is a guy who I enjoy talking about. We covered him a few years back. He lost his mom to cancer, but you think about some of those lean years for South Carolina State. He was there. He's been a rock in this program, and now in his final season with the Bulldogs, he's hoping they can be in the hunt for that MEAC title. Fields throws it up, and we saw Omar Cummings come up with a terrific grab in the first half, but this one sails over his head.
And North Carolina A&T just too aggressive to try and do this little slip screen to Cummings coming across the formation. You see the pressure right away, forces Fields to get rid of the ball sooner.
Jay, you have that great play. You've got the momentum in your favor. How are you feeling for Dylan Bredesen if he comes away with this kick?
Settling for it. It all started, they hurried to the line of scrimmage, and I thought they wasted a play with that one quick run they tried to do.
And this one up, he made one from 23 earlier, and this one is through from 28. Well, this is the slugfest, the dog fight that we thought we'd see between the Aggies and the Bulldogs. Just 2 points separate them.
Ta-don.
(11-18) and Buddy Pugh's ball club not done just yet, trailing by 2. We've seen a lot of great games come down to the wire, and he certainly has 103 career wins, the all-time winningest, next to his head coach, the Hall of Famer Willie Jeffries. What they have done in Orangeburg, South Carolina, has been special throughout the years. This one is shaping up so nicely as Taymon Cook is returning the kick for the Aggies. But Jay, we talked about Buddy Pugh being the dean of coaches, 18 seasons. He spent more than 4 decades here with South Carolina State. He's not afraid of these situations. He knows what it's like.
Oh, he's been in these fights, and he kind of knew what to anticipate. And, you know, I like his analogy he told us. He said, if we don't get pushed around and blown out early, we're going to be there for the fight. And when we saw A&T didn't jump on him early, Buddy Pugh had a game plan, and he really feels this type of ball game, his team is going to come out on top. We'll see if that happens.
The quick pass on the outside, and the pass complete to Jordan McDaniel for just about 2 yards. But what they've been able to do, his defense is really slow. Jameis Martin.
Yeah, he's taken away their ultimate weapon. A&T's got weapons. They've got wide receivers and a good quarterback, but in the mindset of Bill Belichick, take away the number one thing they like to do, which is run the football. They've completely taken away the running game from Jameis Martin.
They had the jumbo package in for Khalil Carter, and he moves ahead for just about a few. But you think about Jameis Martin, before him was Tariq Cohen, and he didn't have a whole lot of success against the Bulldogs either.
No, Tariq Cohen put numbers on everybody in the conference except for South Carolina State, and Buddy Pugh knows that. Buddy would tell us that. We've seen great running backs from A&T coming here before, and they've left there with their yards per carry average going down.
8.7 for John Martin. And right now you see the shaking on the screen. That's because the fans are stomping in the stands. They have got this place rocking. Khalil Carter with nowhere to go, and Chad Gilchrist was right there to wrap him up.
South Carolina State has made North Carolina pass. Well, if you take that many dropbacks, if you don't complete footballs, then all of a sudden things like this happen. He's looking where to go with the football, get him out of the pocket, know where to run. Gilchrist there to make the tackle. 3
sacks on the game for South Carolina State. That one was big. Gives them a chance to have some pretty decent field position. Couldn't get to the punter, and Demontrez Burrows calling for it, but that was really close, Jay. They almost got to Michael Rivers.
That was a great play by the punter. I will give credit to Michael Rivers. This was a horrible snap from the long snapper. I mean, look at this ball. Skipped on the ground. That's a short hop. For him to catch that cleanly and get that punt away, huge play from the special teams of North Carolina A&T.
Shaq Davis having a quick conversation. Well, that's Jalen Evans, excuse me, with his head coach, Buddy Pugh. So the offense for South Carolina State trotting back onto the field.
And I'm telling you, this is a different offense when they've got Corey Fields in the game. It becomes like a scary offense. They can hurt you throwing the football.
Gets it away quickly, and they're shaking and baking a couple of receivers, and Omar Cummings is brought down to pick up about 4.
And I'm going to tell you something. Fields has earned the respect of North Carolina A&T. When A&T plays defense now, they're accommodating for Fields in the throwing game. They're keeping an extra safety high. We know they like to sell out against the run, but because he's hurt him with those big plays, they're keeping a safety high. Now there may be some running lanes.
And this one, ball batted down, not live, but getting to that was Devin Harrell. Harrell showing off his quickness there, just getting in the face of Corey Fields. Now South Carolina State is faced with a big 3rd down.
Yeah, but you have to like their chances the way that Fields has been making decisions in the passing game. So they're going to come out, spread them out. I wouldn't go empty because you know that brings a blitz, but they're just looking for him to find a matchup.
You got to think Burrows, 8 catches, 168 yards. He's down to the bottom of your screen in the slot.
In the slot, but watch Mac McCain. If they try and go up top, he likes to jump on routes in these situations.
Fields instead goes to the outside, and that's Rodriguez Thomas. Thomas with the 1st down, brought down by Amir McNeil.
And it's such an underrated thing to be able to throw the ball where you want to, but when you see Fields locate this football where the defensive back has absolutely no chance at getting it, take a look at the throw. He's throwing him open. Outside shoulder, that allows the receiver an opportunity to make the catch and pick up yards after the reception.
Gain of 19 across midfield, 1st and 10. Fields going for Burrows, and instead misses the interception by Amir McNeil. McNeil on the returns, got some room running up the left side, trying to juke a little move. A late flag coming in, but wow, what a big mistake by Fields.
Yes, he just missed. There'll be a hold on this return, which was an obvious hold that allowed McNeil to get to the outside. But what Fields is going to hate, I saw 2 guys running wide open, and he threw it right between them in the middle, which was a North Carolina A&T defensive back.
Interception by North Carolina A&T. During the return, holding, return team, number 8. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
Both teams with a turnover today. This one costly late in this ball game as South Carolina State was trying to drive. A&T grabs it right back.
You're done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's.
Players have gone on from North Carolina A&T. Daryl Johnson, the latest to join the ranks now with the Buffalo Bills, but that pipeline started back in 1950 with Bob Stonewall Jackson.
Did some research.
Yeah, did a little something.
But I always say this: you see A&T, you can't mention Tariq Cohen enough. That's the GOAT.
Yeah,
he's the GOAT.
Well, Elvin Bethea might have something to say about that. As South Carolina State spins a timeout out of the break. The way that this game is shaping up, it's all about who's going to make that last push, right? So South Carolina State started out 10-0, and then A&T goes on a run, scoring 22 unanswered.
Yeah, and let's just go back to when State had the 10-0 lead, they had the ball and didn't increase the lead, right? Then A&T went up, and they had a chance to increase the lead by a lot and settle for a field goal. And now South Carolina State is taking that momentum back. And although North Carolina A&T is leading, you kind of feel like they're on the ropes.
So Carter and the Aggies offense start this possession. The quick pass out to the outside, and the receiver is bottled up. Zachary Leslie just has a whole bunch of guys on him.
You may ask yourself, okay, A&T, you're up by 2. And you're the quarterback. What are you thinking? You're going to protect the football. We know that Khalil Carter does a good job protecting the football naturally. But I think he's got to pick his poison, like when he's going to decide to run. So I think at a certain point in the quarterback, you know when you're the running game. So he has to, although the coach may call a pass, he may call pass just to clear his body out so that you can find the hole to run through.
Well, here he calls his own number, and good room up ahead. The first down for Khalil Carter, so that moves the chains. And John Martin coming in with the big block on that 8-yard run.
Yeah, and that's the offensive coordinator and the quarterback being on the same page. You are the running game. Martin's going to be, we have to just use him as a decoy, as talented as he is. He may not get many more touches in this football game, but you want to keep the clock running if you're a North Carolina A&T fan.
Remember, we saw that long championship-like drive back in the third quarter that resulted in the Noel Ruiz field goal. And can they string together another here and hold tight to this 2-point lead? John Martin has been pretty much a non-factor today. He did score a touchdown for the Aggies, but outside of that, they have held him at bay.
Yeah, he's been a marked man. And South Carolina State has the personnel to control the line of scrimmage. I mean, Martin showed me that he's special. We know he's special. He's shown flashes of that, but it's just been really tough to find some creases to run the football. Look at this box here. They're just packing it all in. Straight man-to-man coverage.
Bell stands in for the reception, brought down by Moultrie, but it's going to move the sticks and keep it going.
And what I like about A&T, like the good teams take difficult plays and make it look simple. Like when I watch North Dakota State, the Bison, they win on first down, they pick up positive yards. When a team just absolutely clogs the run, they'll take a 5-yard out pattern, get the completion to stay ahead of the chains. And I see from North Carolina A&T a lot of those same things. If you're going to really take away the run, then we'll throw the ball. We can do that. And if we have to run in short yard situations, we can do that. Very complete football team.
Martin trying to bounce to the outside, cuts back up. Martin stays on his feet and again finds the markers just near there. Jalen Barr is there to take him down.
I told you, when he plants that foot and accelerates, it is beautiful to watch. And he's got some shiftiness too. He's looking. Watch this. I'm accelerating. He cuts upfield in a hurry. And a good job by Jalen Barr coming over, trying to put a good licking on him at the end of the run.
1,000-yard rusher this season is John Martin. He's on the sideline.
Let that clock tick. No sense of urgency from A&T.
Kayshawn Baker, and Baker was brought down by Barr again.
See, and if you're Baker, I don't know how much I go with Baker in this situation because he's a smaller back and South Carolina State, they're going to start trying to strip the football. And you don't want to turn your back to the defense. We saw Baker try to do a spin move in the hole. Right now, this situation in the game, this is no spin move is allowed. It's downhill football, trying to milk some clock and pick up positive yards.
Well, Baker remains in the ball game. Martin on the sideline for 2nd and 9. They give it to Baker, and Baker could not avoid Bruce Johnson. Johnson tracking him down from behind, a tackle for a loss.
Fantastic play by Bruce Johnson. Coming from his defensive end position, take a look how he tracks down the ball carrier, as you mentioned, from left to right, running down the line of scrimmage. Big tackle for a loss in the backfield.
So 3rd and 12 for A&T.
There is nothing wrong with the punt in this situation, meaning if you take a sack or an incompletion, that's fine, but you can't turn it over.
Carter looking to pass and overthrows Elijah Bell. That stops the clock, and the punting unit will come on for the Aggies.
You're going to need a play from their special teams. When you got a quarterback that's hot, the important punt coming up here for North Carolina A&T.
Remember, Michael Rivers had to handle that bad snap the last time. We'll see if the second best punter in the conference can pin the Bulldogs deep in their own territory.
This is a time you call for the punt block. If you're South Carolina State, come after it.
Good snap. This time Rivers able to get it off. And Burrows collects it at the 16-yard line. So 2 points separate these two. A chance to stay. Well, if you're just tuning in, it's at the right time because the drama continues to unfold from Orangeburg, South Carolina. The redshirt freshman quarterback Corey Fields trying to engineer a drive and upset perhaps the 16th ranked team in all of FCS. Also clawing for that position in the conference standings. He starts from deep in his own territory, and Fields trying to get some breathing room a little bit more. The incomplete pass to Traquan DeBose. There's a Bulldog that's slow to get up.
And now this is a time where you need your offensive line with the protection. You know you all are basically going to throw the football the rest of the game, and their center, Michael Terry, down on the turf.
And you hope he's able to get up. He has provided great leadership up front for the Bulldogs all season.
Number 50 right here in the center of your screen. Let's take a look at.
His own man comes in at the last moment and may have cut him down as Terry is slow to walk off. The junior out of Duluth, Georgia, holding on to the shoulder, his left shoulder, it appears. But time for Corey Fields. Time for Corey Fields to grow up here.
Yep, you know, and they've been relying upon the big play. And that's how you have to attack a man-to-man defense that likes to blitz linebackers. You know you're going to get hit. You're not going to have a high completion percentage, but the completions you have to count. And the wide receivers have done the job. Just get rid of the football early.
Well, Fields was able to maybe scoop that one up by Morris, but I think he is incomplete. And now it's 3rd down, and we wondered how Fields and this offense would respond to the INT.
The ball just kind of comes out like an ugly knuckler and clearly down on the ground. You know, we were talking during the break. I always say this, when you're in a catch-up, hurry-up situation, the most important play is 1st down. Get a completion just to get the momentum on your side to get these things going. We're going to review this play, but yeah, that's a drop. That's clear. Let's play football. Come on.
But you were saying, to your point, Jay, you know, 1st down, you want to get some positive yardage, move ahead, and help yourself up. for the second and third down situations.
Get a little flow. But I used to get that was something, and it's not scientifically proven, but my old coach, rest in peace, Denny Green, when I played for the Minnesota Vikings, he used to tell us, we're coming out in no huddle situation, 2-minute drive. I want the first pass completed, period. It doesn't have to be deep. I just want a completion so we can get some tempo, get to the line of scrimmage, get it going. And I've seen it so often when teams come out in situations like this and they fall behind on first down, and then it ends up being a 3-and-out, or the drive kind of fizzles, or they waste too much time.
So the play under review is an incomplete pass, but I'm also told that the clock did not stop right after that drop.
So they're trying to get the time right.
Burn. Third down.
Okay.
So the call is confirmed on the field, and it brings up 3rd and 10. So what do you draw up for your redshirt freshman quarterback?
Well, make sure you have routes that go deep enough to pick up the first down. We know A&T likes to keep everything in front of you, so I'm looking for a clear-out route. They've got a trips formation down here. Maybe clear Burrows out and have somebody come in behind them for the throw.
Well, if there is a weak spot of this Aggie defense, it is their secondary. The coaches, Courtney Court, talked to us along with Sam Washington, not pleased with that pass defense. So we'll see if they can attack them here. They've had success all game long. DeMontrez Burrows is the one who's eaten up a lot of yards. Fields sees a man held up as Burrows looked to be held by Joseph Stuckey, the linebacker. And now that's 4th down. But that was a call that should have been there because it looked like Burrows was held up.
Oh, he was all over him. And cover 2, and Burrows is trying to swim to the inside. That's a hold. He got the hold. That ball is tipped away. And there is the rule. If a ball is tipped, then it's not pass interference.
Right.
But if it's holding, it's holding. I thought that could have been the hold.
4th down. And they punt it away. And so now you've got to rely on your defense once again to come up with the biggest stop of the day. Can they slow down this Aggie defense, who they saw score 22 unanswered points and have the lead now?
And I think what they have to be worried about the most, obviously A&T is going to try and run it, but the element of A&T going for the home run ball. I mean, A&T knows that they've had trouble running the football, period, throughout this game. And when it's an obvious run situation, how many downs do you waste before you try and take that deep shot?
And this is a great stat right here, and thanks to everyone in our truck for pulling this up. Tariq Cohen and John Maine Martin have not had success, to our earlier point, against this South Carolina State defense, holding them to under half of what they're normally used to doing. Okay.
Tariq Cohen's like I told you, man.
Right.
When you run against those Bulldogs, it's tough. And South Carolina State has always been, if not the most, one of the most physical teams in this conference for years. I mean, back to when I played, they were physical, hard-hitting defense, and you had to attack them the way that A&T did today. Kind of, hey, take your lumps, low completion percentage, hit them with the big balls over the top.
South Carolina State has 2 timeouts remaining. About 2:10 remaining in this ball game. Leslie in motion, the handoff to Martin. Martin stays on his feet, gets some blockers, lets it set up, and now 3rd and short. Bruce Johnson bringing him down.
Now you get a timeout called.
Now you get the timeout called. Okay.
And I like that. So you're going to give your offense an opportunity to get the football back and have a timeout with them if you can get a stop here on 3rd down.
Each team going to their respective huddles. I mean, in what form or way has South Carolina State been able to contain Martin in that run game?
number count, but their front four is a little bit better than. I'm talking about the defensive linemen. The strength of South Carolina State's defense is Roderick Perry. It's Terrell Goodwin. It's Paul McKeever. Those guys are good. So they haven't had to sell out completely with having linebackers crowd the line of scrimmage. It's just their interior line play has been really good, and they've told the guys on the edge, don't let him bounce. We know we've got the inside cover. They haven't had any lanes for Martin to bounce to the outside for the big runs.
Kayshawn Baker in the backfield instead of Martin on this 3rd and 5.
Look for Khalil Carter to try and run this football if he sees an opening.
Instead, he's staying back to pass and finds a man coming across, and that's Elijah Bell. Bell with a big-time catch when they needed it most from their all-time leading receiver.
Comes across the formation, and a good job by Carter, just showing the patience. Initial read wasn't there, comes down, finds the secondary crossing route, and Elijah Bell for the huge first down for North Carolina A&T, and that very well may be the ball game.
Yep, fresh set of downs to work with, and South Carolina State only has 1 timeout remaining. Martin moving ahead, lowering his shoulder. So at this point, Jay, is it even necessary if they run the ball a couple more times, they can just maybe take a knee?
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina State's going to call the timeout now, and then you figure you take 2 knees. And that should do it for North Carolina A&T.
So North Carolina Central with the win today over Howard. They're sitting at 3-2. There are a trio of 1-loss teams. We're seeing 2 today, and essentially the loser here will be all but eliminated from contention.
I think the important thing about that graphic being there is remaining games coming. North Carolina A&T has to play Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman has to play A&T and Florida A&M University. South Carolina State, this was their tough challenge. This really would have put them in a great position. They were able to get a victory here at home. And
the upcoming schedule for A&T, they're on the road at Morgan State, and then Bethune-Cookman, they host them in Greensboro, and then they welcome in the Eagles for the Aggie Eagle Classic to close out the regular season. And you think about a team like North Carolina A&T, and we can't really dive into it, but the way that they have built their program over time to continuously be one of those top teams in the MEAC.
And, I saw something interesting. I really thought Aggie Eagle wasn't going to mean anything this year. But if you look at it, if there's a possibility for a 2-loss team to win the title this year, with Florida A&M being ineligible, Bethune-Cookman's got a game I can see them losing. South Carolina State's got the 2 losses already, but then what if Central were to knock off A&T and make it a tie with 2 losses there? The tiebreak scenario would get crazy, but we said it was going to be a great year of HBCU football, and then the MEAC is shaping up to be wacky.
Clock hits all zeros. North Carolina A&T wins again and is 1 step closer to defending their MEAC crown for a 3rd year in a row. The border battle was great. North Carolina A&T responded. They put up 22 unanswered points. They held off the Bulldogs and win this one 22-20. For Jay Walker, I'm Tiffany Green saying so long from Orangeburg. Thank you.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.